but we'll make it fun.
100 million people watching. At the same time, it's such a privilege to do things like this, but you're getting people are, leading up to it, or is he going to fact check? Every time you turn on cable TV, they're talking about you and what they think you're going to do or what you're thinking. I don't know if Kristen felt the same thing, but I think of David and Lindsay tonight. It's not an easy task.
Oh, it's definitely not. And when you talk about feeling lonely, part of that is because there's no one in your ear telling you or giving you editorial backup. Look, I think there's no greater weight than the moments before heading into a general election debate, because you are asking questions on behalf of the people who Kate was just interviewing, on behalf of the American people. So you want the questions to be understandable, digestible, not coming from Washington and politics, but from a place of people's dining room tables. And the best thing that you can say about a moderator is that you don't remember the moderator.
Well, I was going to say, and since it's over, I can say these can make a career, they can break a career, and a lot of times the criticism is quite harsh for a moderator who's either
blah blah blah. Okay, boring.
And for moderators
boring.
who don't,
Blah blah blah. Nobody cares.
Okay,
boring.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Boring.
We got like a couple more minutes.
Nobody
before the
cares.
fucking main event. How's everybody doing tonight? We got like a couple more minutes before the fucking main event. All right. Keep your hopes low, everybody. This is gonna be. It's gonna be like debating Biden.
Keep your hopes low.
But we'll have fun. We'll have fun.
Everybody. This is gonna
Okay,
be
now I gotta.
It's gonna be like
that my YouTube stream is going, and then once I get the YouTube stream going, then we can there we go. Boom. We need a thumbnail for it. Pop out chat. I don't know if my YouTube this is going to work, unfortunately. I don't think. We'll turn that off for now. Fuck. Who cares about the viewers? We're gonna have fun. Golf. Big D crowds. Golf some more. Yeah. Deport everyone. I am like interested to see how Kamala does in a debate, don't get me wrong, but like we'll just see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I feel like it's gonna just be like a rerun of I feel like it's gonna be a rerun of Hillary Clinton and Trump. We all know how that went. That's why I'm cheering Trump on, you know? Bro, they're putting, oh my, what am I even looking at right now? We'll just go like that for now. We'll just listen. Oh, elevator music. Dude, why is my internet connection doing, oh, am I lagging? I don't think I am. I'm actually doing pretty good here. Let's test the chat. Test, boom. Look at that. We got, now you guys can read the YouTube chat also. So let's go. And then I'm also, yeah, no, it's just YouTube and TikTok today. If you guys want full screen on TikTok, there's a, right there, there's a button. You turn your phone sideways. Watch full screen. Okay, we got that. We got that. Got audio, yeah. Do I have audio? I think I have audio. Okay, we have audio. Foo Fighters frontman. This is. Okay, actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna get the opposition in here because I'm Trump today, so I'm a Trump supporter today. So let's get Get some of this up in this bitch. Oh boy. What's he on? ABC News? Do it. I'm not subscribed or logged in. Yeah, you can subscribe. You can't subscribe here for free. You can subscribe for free if you get gifted a sub over here. You know? You know? We're not that level yet. One day. Okay, so he's on. Is that NBC or ABC? I feel like we're watching a different stream. I thought it was ABC. Let's fucking go! We need some CNN music. Oh shit. Yeah, I gotta do something. What's happening? I'm not frozen, am I? Okay, good. I got a black screen on YouTube right now. I'm not frozen. Am I? Okay, good. I got a black screen on YouTube right now. YouTube is not so much my priority tonight, but it is important. If it goes down here, like if we get taken down, party's gonna be over on YouTube. There we go. I feel like the audio on YouTube was so bad. My apologies for that. Okay, I have Do Not Disturb on. Why am I getting fucking TikTok sending me notifications? Okay, thank you. I love CNN music. It's so good.
Tom, are you starting to feel
Former president has tended to be more rambling, disjointed in many of his answers at a time that we were focusing on Joe Biden. Is that something that folks will be watching carefully?
He's now, of course, the older candidate now.
okay? We will be back with you. It's the top of the hour now, 9 o'clock on the East Coast here in New York and in Philadelphia. The room where
Yeah,
it's
what's
about to
Trump?
happen.
He's like 81? 81? Bernie Sanders is like 82? And then Joe Biden is like 84? Like, bro, why does America just keep electing carcasses? Like literal carcasses. Get some young blood in there. I'm rooting for JFK or RFK Jr. personally. I hope he wins. I really like his takes on vaccine. I'm just kidding. I mean, no. RFK. RFK. I swear to God, RFK is going to win this election, guys. Disk space. We're doing pretty good with here we are.
And thank you for joining us for tonight's ABC News presidential debate. We want to welcome viewers watching on ABC and around the world tonight. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump are just moments away from taking the stage.
What do we got? 1 million viewers?
June. Since then, this race has taken on an entirely new dynamic.
And that brings us to the rules of tonight's debate. 90 minutes with 2 commercial
1.3 million people watching on YouTube right now. Let's go.
The candidates will have 2 minutes to answer questions, and this is the clock. That's what they'll be seeing. 2 minutes for rebuttals and 1 minute for follow-ups, clarifications.
Nobody cares.
Their microphones will only
Nobody
be
cares. We already heard all the rules. Their microphones will be
no audience here tonight in this hall at the
like
National
what?
Constitution.
You see, this is what happens when the liberals get their way, okay? Like no audience. Like what are we social distancing again? God.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump.
Donald. Oh, this is awkward.
Kamala Harris.
They did it!
Thank you.
Bro, there were bets on that.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you. It's an honor.
I bet Donald Trump put a bet on that, and he just won a bet. Bro, he just won so much money. That's half his campaign right there.
Repeatedly say is their #1 issue, and that is the economy
It's
and
rigged.
the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing, and the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children. My passion, one of them, is small businesses. I was actually, my mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to start up small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan
hip.
is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
President Trump, I'll give you 2 minutes.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world. And the tariff will be substantial in some cases. I took
More
in
trade
billions
war.
and billions of dollars, as you know, from China. In fact, they never took the tariff off because there was so much money they can't.
More trade war,
They would totally
equal good.
destroy everything that they've set out to do. They're taking in
No
millions
sales
of
tax.
dollars from China and other places. They've left the tariffs on.
Just a lie.
When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had
Just
no
a
inflation.
lie.
Look,
She's
we've had a
lying.
terrible economy because inflation which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look
You
at
guys don't even know what's
Springfield,
happening.
Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns.
Taking
They're
over.
taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that she and Biden led into our country, and they're destroying our country. They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality, and we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And what we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess. What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm going to tell you all in this debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again. I believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us, and I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans.
President Trump, will give you a minute here to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together. They came up with some ideas, I guess some good, some bad, but it makes no difference.
Busted.
I have nothing to do. Everybody knows
Kamala's
I'm an
a
open book. Everybody
liar.
knows
Nobody
what I'm gonna
believes
do. Cut taxes
her.
very substantially and create a
Busted.
great economy like I did
He had
before.
nothing to do with
We had
2025
the greatest economy. We got hit with a
project.
pandemic. And the pandemic was
What about the black
not
people
since 1917,
jobs?
where 100 million people died. Has there been anything like it? We did a
Right?
phenomenal job with the
Yeah.
pandemic. We handed them over.
We'll
a
get to the
country where
like,
the
you know,
economy
where
and
we're
the
gonna
stock market
deport
was
everybody.
higher than it was
We'll get
before
there.
the pandemic came in.
He's just getting warmed
Nobody's
up.
ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns. We got masks. We did things that nobody thought
Nobody.
possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the
Wonderful
only jobs they got
job.
were bounce back jobs. These were jobs bounce back, and it bounced back, and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
So does everybody else.
So Donald Trump has no plan.
This is your
for you.
opportunity, Kamala. Let's go.
And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest
And deporting.
I am
Deport
offering
everybody.
what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs
What if we
has
stop
said
sending
is that Donald
arms?
Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issues. And I'd invite you to know that Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
It's just a soundbite. They gave her that to say. Look, I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors,
Run it
think
like
my
a
plan
business.
is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able
Bro,
to go
he's
and
so
work
good.
and create jobs and create a lot
He's
of
so good.
solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up. The Vice President brought up your tariffs.
She
You
does have a
responded
plan.
because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing,
It'll bring the
medication,
jobs
arguably
back
cost
to
the typical
America.
family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not
This
gonna
isn't
have higher
fair.
prices. What's going to happen?
They're not treating him fairly.
Higher prices is China.
China.
And all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. I was the only president ever. China was paying us hundreds of billions of dollars, and so were other countries. And, you know, if she doesn't like them, they should have gone out and they should have immediately cut the tariffs. But those tariffs are there 3.5 years now under their administration. We are going to take in billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country because I've never seen a worse period of time. People can't go out and buy cereal or bacon or eggs or anything else.
Not the bacon.
The people of our country are absolutely dying with what they've done. They've destroyed the economy. And all you have to do is look
Not
at
the
a poll.
bacon.
The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Vice President Harris, I do want to
I don't think
your response, and you heard what the president said.
I don't think
that
he
the Biden
understands the
administration
concept
did keep
of
a number of the Trump tariffs
like
in place on
when a
respond.
company
Well, let's
has
be
to pay
clear that the
20%, they
Trump
just
administration
put that onto the
resulted
consumer.
in
I
a
don't think
trade deficit,
I don't
one
think
of
he
the
understands
highest we've
that.
ever seen in the history of America. He
runs the country like a CEO. He doesn't give a shit.
With China, what he ended up doing is under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military, basically sold us out, when a policy about China should be in making sure the United States of America wins the competition for the 21st century, which means focusing on the details of what that requires, focusing on relationships with our allies, focusing on investing in American-based technology so that
Joe
we
Biden
win
was
the
the
race
weakest
AI,
on
quantum
China.
computing, focusing on what we need to do to support America's workforce so that we don't end up having on the short end of the stick in terms of workers' rights. But what Donald Trump did, let's talk about this, with COVID, is he actually thanked President Xi for what he did during COVID. Look at his tweet. Thank you, President Xi, exclamation point, when we know that Xi was responsible for lacking and not giving us transparency about the origins of COVID.
President Trump, I'll let you respond.
First of all, they bought their chips from Taiwan. We hardly make chips anymore because of philosophies like they have and policies like they have. I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact,
He brought Apple back to America.
My philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics, and he taught
Marxism,
her.
I mean,
but when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions,
own
and
it,
millions
Kamala,
of people
own
that are
it.
pouring into our country monthly, where
Marxism
it's, I
is
believe, 21
good.
million people, not the 15 that people
Do
say,
Marxism.
and I think it's a lot higher than the 21.
Bro,
That's
he
bigger
doesn't,
than New
he
York
can't even
State,
structure a
Oregon.
sentence.
Just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are
Criminals.
criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy. They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
President Trump, thank you. Lindsay?
She's got a look in her eye right now.
Abortion. President Trump, you've often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade. Last year, you said that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard to
Shut
the
up,
6-week
Secca.
abortion ban because you initially
Just
had
kidding.
said that it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because
I know where
the
he's going
plan
with
is,
this.
as you know, the vote is they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can
No,
look
they
at
don't.
the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West
The fuck?
Virginia, not the current governor, is doing an excellent job. But
Like
the
they do,
governor
but
before,
for
he
emergencies
said,
only.
The baby will be born, and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I
That sounds
did
like a
because
state
that
liberty.
dominates, because they're
Okay.
radical. The Democrats are
Volume's pretty
radical
low,
in that.
thank you.
And her vice presidential
I'll turn it
pick,
up.
which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says abortion
go.
in the 9th month
Thank you.
is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions.
Guys, do you
for
guys hear that
rape,
Donald Trump's
incest,
gonna
and
legalize
life of the
weed?
mother. I believe strongly in it.
Can we
Ronald
ask him
Reagan
about
did
his
also.
weed stance on
85%
weed?
of Republicans do. Exceptions. Very important. But we were able to get it, and now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. Now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over 20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal for a doctor or nurse to provide health care. In one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion, a monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies.
I don't think he would, just because like he's a second-term president. Like, what's he gonna do? Fucking destroy his legacy?
Particularly, the freedom to make decisions about one's own body should not be made by the government.
I don't think he would
Vice
do that.
President Harris.
Well, there
I
she
call
goes
bullshit.
again. It's a lie.
Bullshit.
I'm not
Lie.
signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign
Told
a ban
you.
because
No
we've gotten
reason.
what everybody
Yep.
wanted. Democrats,
Donald Trump for
Republicans,
3
and
terms.
everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought
No, that
back
was
into
good.
the
That was
states,
good.
and
I'm
the
just
states
saying. I
are
don't think he
voting.
would.
And it may take a little time, but for 52
would.
years, this
Maybe there's
issue
lobbyists.
has torn our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states.
He already
and I
has a
did
shitty
something
reputation.
that nobody thought was possible. The states are
Bro,
now
get to
voting.
the point.
What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as
Absolute
the
lie.
abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came
Well,
to
I
your
won't
desk?
have to because, again, two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote.
That's why you guys need to vote again in 2026.
And the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of? When they said they're going to get student loans terminated, and it ended up being a total catastrophe.
Was it, though?
I think probably her boss, if you call him a boss, he spends all his time on the beach. But look, her boss went out
We need
and said,
more weapons for Israel. Forgiving student loans is a complete catastrophe.
this whole thing about this whole idea and how unfair that would have been, part of the reason they lost, to the millions and millions of people that had to pay off their student loans. They didn't get it for free. But they were saying it's the same way that they talked about that they talk about abortion.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. in all fairness. J.D., and I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't.
J.D.
have to discuss it.
J.D.
Like she couldn't get student loans. They couldn't get student loans. They didn't even come close to getting student loans. They taunted young people and a lot of other people that had loans. They can never get this approved. So it doesn't matter what she says about going to Congress. So wonderful.
knows
Let's go to
all
Congress.
about
Do it.
that.
But the fact is that for years they wanted to
Trump's
get
like,
it out of Congress
they
and out of
took
the federal
my
government.
food stamp
and we did something
program
that
and
everybody
they
said
put it
couldn't be
to the
done. And
college
now
fund.
you have a vote of the
Isn't that
people on
how-
abortion.
Vice President Harris,
I
wanna
feel
give
like
you your
that's how
time
it
to respond,
works.
But I do want to ask, would you support any restrictions on a woman's right to an abortion?
I absolutely support reinstating the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as you rightly mentioned, nowhere in America
How are you going to do it, Kamala, without
is
the
a woman
fucking Congress?
carrying a pregnancy to term and in asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America. And understand what has been happening under Donald Trump's abortion bans. Couples who pray and dream of having a family are being denied IVF treatments. what is happening in our country. Working people, working
America's
women
fucked.
who are working 1 or 2 jobs, who can barely afford childcare as it is, have to travel to another state
We're fucked.
to get on a plane
Fuck it up
sitting next
more.
to strangers, to go and get the health care she needs. Barely can afford to do it, and what you are putting her through is unconscionable. And the people of America have not, the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body, and that is why in every state where this issue has been on the ballot, in red and blue states both, the people of America have voted for freedom.
Vice President Harris,
Excuse me, I have to respond. Another
Women
line.
should not run
I
America.
have been a leader on IVF, which is fertilization. The IVF.
They're just too
I have been a
emotional.
leader. In fact, when they got a very
I
negative
feel like
decision
now the
on
sassy
IVF
Trump is
from
coming
the
out.
Alabama courts,
He's triggered.
I saw the people of Alabama and the
He's triggered.
legislature 2 days later voted it in. I've been
yeah.
a leader on it. They know that, and everybody else knows it. I have been a leader on
weird.
fertilization, IVF. And the
I'm
other
just kidding.
thing,
He's kind of old now, guys.
you should ask.
Doesn't
Will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that?
They cheated.
Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer
That's
the
problem.
question? Would you
because
veto?
Under Roe
Turn her
v.
mic
Wade,
off.
You could do abortions in the 7th month,
This
the
isn't
8th
fair.
month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just
Not
look
fair.
at the governor, former
wait,
governor
is it like where
of
it's
Virginia.
open mic?
The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine
it's
what
open
we
mic,
want to
I
do
don't
with
know.
the baby.
President Trump, thank you.
We're going to turn
Why
now
was
to
her mic
immigration
on?
and border security. We know it's an issue that's important
Oh,
to
that
Republicans,
was
Democrats,
bad,
voters across
guys.
the board.
Trump
in this
is gonna
country.
cry about that
Vice
so
President
hard
Harris,
tomorrow.
you were tasked by President Biden
They
with getting to
turned
the
her
root
mic
causes
on.
of migration from Central America.
I couldn't even
we know that
turn my
illegal
mic
border
on.
crossings reached a record high in the Biden administration. This past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know the numbers since then have dropped significantly. But my question to you tonight is, why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted
the only
transnational
person on
criminal
it. How many
organizations
times is she gonna
for the
say that,
trafficking
for
of
fuck's sake?
guns,
Like, you're
drugs,
lying.
and human beings.
Fuck.
And let me say that the United States
She should have done
Congress,
door-to-door
including some of the
sales.
most
You figure
conservative
that
members
shit
of the
out,
United
you
States
know.
Senate, came
I'm the
up with a
only
border
person.
security bill, which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime, trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who engages in solutions, who actually addresses the problems at hand. But what we have in the former president is someone who would prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And I'll tell you something, he's going to talk about immigration a lot tonight, even when it's not the subject that is being raised. And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first, and I pledge to you that I will.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the
Please.
rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there and showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics. That's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation. And it happened 3.5 years ago. And what's going on here, you're going to end up in World War III, just to go into another subject. What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it.
Why is it so delayed?
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say. They want to bring our country back. They want to make America great again. It's a very simple phrase.
Dude, I don't
make
know
America
why
great again.
there's such
She's
a delay.
destroying this country. And if she becomes president, this country doesn't have a chance of success. Not only success, we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids.
There's a bad delay.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured.
Test. Sorry, guys. It's fucking
The
bullshit.
people are on television saying their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme. You know, this is, I think, one of the reasons why in this election, I actually have the endorsement of 200 Republicans who have formerly worked with President Bush, Mitt Romney, and John McCain, including the endorsement of former Vice President Dick Cheney and Congress member Liz Cheney. And if you want to really know the inside track on who the former president is, if he didn't make it clear already, just ask people who have worked with him. His former chief of staff, a four-star general, has said he has contempt for the Constitution of the United States. His former national security advisor has said he is dangerous and unfit. His former Secretary of Defense has said the nation, the Republic, would never survive another Trump term. And when we listen to this kind of rhetoric, when the issues that affect the American people are not being addressed, I think the choice is clear in this election.
President Trump, I'll give you a quick minute to respond here.
Thank you, because when I hear that, see, I'm a different kind of a person. I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. They didn't fire anybody having to do with Afghanistan and the Taliban and the 13 people whose were just killed, viciously and violently killed. And I got to know the parents and the family. They didn't fire. They should have fired all those generals, all those top people, because that was one of the most incompetently handled situations anybody has ever seen. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire him. And you take a guy like Esper. He was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book. Because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they? They have done such a poor job. And they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far. In fact, I got more votes than any president, sitting president in history by far.
Let me continue on immigration. It was what you wanted to talk about earlier, so let's get back to your deportation proposal that the vice president has reacted to as well. President Trump, you call this the largest domestic deportation operation in the history of our country. You say you would use the National Guard. You say if things get out of control, you'd have no problem using the U.S. military.
Police, yes.
You also said you would use local police. How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Criminals, many millions of
I don't know
criminals.
what's happening.
They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers, to come into our country, and they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes, but it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in, and all over the world, crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But Vice President Harris,
the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud. Just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond, Vice President.
It's better
I
now.
think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual assault, and his next big court appearance is in November at his own criminal sentencing. And let's be clear, where each person stands on the issue of what is important about respect for the rule of law and respect for law enforcement. The former vice president called for defunding federal law enforcement, 45,000 agents, get this, on the day after he was arraigned on 34 felony counts. So let's talk about what is important in this race. It is important that we move forward, that we turn the page on this same old tired rhetoric and address the needs of the American people, address what we need to do about the housing shortage, which I have a plan for, address what we must do to support our small businesses, address bringing down the price of groceries. But frankly, the American people are exhausted with this same old tired playbook.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
Excuse me. Every one of those cases was started by them against their political opponent. And I'm winning most of them, and I will win the rest on appeal. And you saw that with the decision that came down just recently from the Supreme Court. I'm winning most of them. But those are cases, it's called weaponization. Never happened in this country. They weaponized the Justice Department. Every one of those cases was involved with the DOJ, from Atlanta and Fani Willis to the Attorney General of New York and the DA in New York. Every one of those cases. And then they say, oh, he's a criminal. They're the ones that made them go after me. By the way, Joe Biden was found essentially guilty on the documents case. And what happened in my documents case? They said, oh, that's the toughest of them all. A complete and total victory. 2 months ago, it was thrown out. It's weaponization, and they used it, and it's never happened in this country. They used it to try and win an election. They're fake cases.
President Trump, thank you. A really quick response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people
Vice President
to stop
Harris,
him.
Not a good argument.
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy.
Maybe
I'm a
it's-
threat to democracy.
maybe it's bait.
They're the threat.
I think she's
to
baiting
democracy.
him.
With the
President
fake
Trump.
Russia investigation
We do have a lot to
that
get.
went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay.
She's baiting
Vice
him.
President Harris, in your last
He
run
fell
for
for
president,
it.
you said you wanted to ban
They
fracking.
she found
Now
his
you don't.
trigger.
You wanted mandatory government
This is where it
buyback
gets good,
programs
I
for
think.
assault weapons. Now your campaign says you don't.
What's it been
you
like?
supported decriminalizing border crossings.
An hour?
Now you're taking
30
a
more
harder
minutes?
line. I know you say that your
No,
values have
50
not changed.
we're halfway
so
through.
Then why have so many of your policy
Halftime
positions
coming soon.
changed?
So my values have not changed, and I'm going to discuss every one of the, at least every point that you've made. But in particular, let's talk about fracking because we're here in Pennsylvania. I made that very clear in 2020. I will not ban fracking. I have not banned fracking as Vice President of the United States. And in fact, I was the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act, which opened new leases for fracking.
See,
My
she's a.
position is
I'm
that
from
we
Alberta.
have
Okay,
to invest
she's not even president yet. Donald Trump is going to be a second-term president. That's why. Look at how orange he is.
increase in
Damn, bro.
domestic oil production in history because of an
I need
approach
some of that makeup.
that we cannot over-rely on foreign oil.
He's looking
As
good
it
though.
relates to my values, let
Like,
me tell you, I grew up
look at
a
Biden
middle-class
and then
kid
look at
raised
him.
by a hardworking mother who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I was a teenager. The values I bring to the importance of home ownership, knowing not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times, is a value that I bring to my work to say we are going to work with the private sector and home builders to increase 3 million homes, increase by 3 million homes by the end of my first term. My work that is related to having a friend when I was in high school who was sexually assaulted by her stepfather. And my focus then on protecting women and children from violent crime is based on a value that is deeply grounded in the importance of standing up for those who are most vulnerable. My work that is about protecting Social Security and Medicare is based on long-standing work that I have done, protecting seniors from scams. My values have not changed. And what is important is that there is a president who actually brings values and a perspective that is about lifting people up and not beating people down and name calling. The true measure of the leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
President Trump, your
Well,
response?
first of all, I wasn't given $400 million. I wish I was. My father was a Brooklyn builder, Brooklyn, Queens, and a great father, and I learned a lot from him. But I was given a fraction of that, a tiny fraction, and I built it into many, many billions of dollars.
$1 million.
And when people see it, they are even surprised. So we don't have to talk about that. Fracking, she's been against it for 12 years. Defund the police, she's been against that forever. She gave all that stuff up very wrongly, very horribly, and everybody's laughing at
Wrongly.
it, okay? They're all laughing
Everybody's
at it.
laughing.
She gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like,
Probably like
she was big
16.
on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
Her face.
She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let
She
criminals
figured it
that
out.
killed people, that burned down
Oh,
Minneapolis.
that's
She
blackmail.
went out and raised money to get
She
them
just
out
like-
of jail.
she was like,
did
"Hey,
things that
hey,
nobody would
is
ever
this
think
your
of.
penis?"
Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Do you
This is
remember
a
the date that
radical
you
left
sent this
liberal
photo,
that would do this.
Donald?
She wants to confiscate your guns, and she will never
I
allow
sent a
fracking in
November
Pennsylvania.
surprise.
If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish one thing, it's so
Oh,
important
my
in my
God.
opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever
Nobody.
done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately
It
let
happens
these guys
with or
go
without you,
to where
Trump.
They were.
That's
I would have
just
been
how the
5
oil
times,
market
4
works, bro.
times, 5 times higher because you're
Your
talking about
trade
3.5
wars
years
didn't
ago.
help.
They got it up to
Guys,
where I was.
his
because they had
fucking
no choice
trade
because
wars,
the
his
prices
trade wars were like a disaster.
happened to gasoline. So they said, let's go back to
He's like, it was the most expensive. Yo, maybe it took a little bit for your fucking trade war to kick in.
oil will be dead 5 Fossil fuel will be dead. We'll go back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar, where they need a whole desert to
Yeah,
get some
fuck, let's do it.
You ever see a solar plant? By the way, I'm a big fan of solar.
I like you. Okay. I'm a single issue voter.
500 acres of desert
President
soil.
Trump, we have a lot
Yeah.
of issues.
You know, I really care about the desert soil, guys.
Lindsay, thank you. We have an election in just 56 days. And I want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power, which, of course, we all know is a cornerstone of our democracy, and the role of a president in a moment of crisis. Mr. President, on January 6th, you told your supporters to march to the Capitol. You said you would be right there with them. The country and the world saw what played out at the Capitol that day, the officers coming under attack. Aides in the West Wing say you watched it unfold on television off the Oval Office. You did send out tweets, but it was more than 2 hours
I can't
before
wait
you
to
sent
see
out
what he
that video
says.
message telling your supporters to
Let's go.
home. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day?
You just said
Fake
anything
news.
that isn't covered.
It's
peacefully
fake
and
news.
patriotically, I said during
It's
my
fake.
speech, not later on. Peacefully and patriotically. And nobody on the other side was killed. Ashley Babbitt was shot by an out-of-control police officer that should have never, ever shot her. It's a disgrace. But we didn't do this group of people that have been treated so badly. I ask, what about all the
Well,
people?
you know, he wasn't hard enough on the BLM movement.
I remember that. She was the border czar. She doesn't want to be called the border czar because she's embarrassed by the border. In fact, she said at the beginning, "Oh, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet." That's because
He legit just said, if white people do it, it's okay.
What about those people? What are they going to be prosecuted?
Because they've been attacking over the BLM shit, like on CNN and Fox News, all over the place. They're attacking Tim Walz because he wasn't hard enough on the Black Lives Matter protests. So it's interesting that he's saying only one person died. Like, what the fuck? Whatever, it's just Trump talking. It doesn't really matter anyways.
But let me just ask
You might ask her that question.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes or no?
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others. I said, I'd like to give you the National Guard or soldiers. They rejected me. Nancy Pelosi rejected me. It was just 2 weeks ago. Her daughter has a tape of her saying she is fully responsible for what happened. They want to get rid of that tape. It would have never happened if Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington did their jobs. I wasn't responsible for security. Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the President of the United States incited a violent mob to attack. Officers were injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the president said, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say we don't have to go back. Let's not go back. We're not going back. It's time to turn the page. And if that was a bridge too far for you, well, there is a place in our campaign for you to stand for country, to stand for our democracy, to stand for rule of law, and to end the chaos, and to end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear, on that point. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking. Let's turn the page on this. Let's not go back. Let's chart a course for the future and not go backward in the past.
Let me just follow up here.
It was a different term, and it was a term that related to energy because they have destroyed.
His mic is turned off. Hers wasn't.
On Charlottesville. That story has been, as you would say, debunked. Laura Ingraham, Sean Hannity, Jesse, all of these people, they covered it. If they go an extra sentence, they will see it was perfect. It was debunked in almost every newspaper, but they still bring it up, just like they bring 2025 up. They bring all of this stuff up. I ask you this. You talk about the Capitol. Why are we allowing these millions of people to come through on the southern border? How come she's not doing anything? And I'll tell you what I would do, and I would be very proud to do it. I would say we would both leave this debate right now. I'd like to see her go down to Washington, D.C. during this debate because we're wasting a lot of time.
Bro, they legit fucking copied Donald Trump's fucking border policy.
Go down to Washington, D.C. and let her sign a bill to close up the border because they have the right to do it. They don't need bills. They have the right to do it. The President of the United States, you'll get him out of bed, you'll wake him up at 4 afternoon, and you'll say, come on down to the office, let's sign a bill. If he signs a bill that the border is closed, all he has to do is say it to the Border Patrol, who are phenomenal. If they do that, the border is closed.
Mr.
Those
President,
people are killing many people, unlike J6.
We talked immigration here tonight. I do want to focus on this next issue to both of you because it really brings us this into focus, truth in these times that we're living in. Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say
sarcastically.
That.
You know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically. Look, there's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it. And they should have sent it back to the legislatures for approval. I got almost 75 million votes, the most votes any sitting president has ever gotten. I told if I got 63, which was what I got in 2016, you can't be beaten. The election, people should never be thinking about an election as fraudulent. We need two things. We need walls, and we have to have it. We have to have borders, and we have to have good elections. Our elections are bad. And a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote. They can't even speak English. They don't even know what country they're in practically. And these people are trying to get them to vote. And that's why they're allowing them to come into our country.
I did watch all of these pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm, lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it. And we should just point out here as clarification, and you know this, you and your allies, 60 cases in front of many judges, many of them Republican.
No judge looked at it.
And said
they
there was
said
no
we didn't have
widespread
standing.
fraud.
That's the other thing. They said we didn't have standing, a technicality. Can you imagine a system where a person in an election doesn't have standing? The President of the United States doesn't have standing. That's how we lost. If you look at the facts, and I'd love to have you'll do a special on it. I'll show you Georgia, and I'll show you Wisconsin, and I'll show you Pennsylvania, and I'll show you. We have so many facts and statistics, but you know what? That doesn't matter because we have to solve the problem that we have right now. That's old news. And the problem that we have right now is in decline, and they have put it into decline. We have a nation that is dying, David.
Mr. President, thank you. Vice President Harris, you heard the president there tonight. He said he didn't say that he lost by a whisker. So he still believes he did not lose the election that was won by President Biden and yourself. But I do want to ask you about something that's come up in the last couple of days. This was a post from President Trump about this upcoming election just weeks away. He said, when I win, those people who cheated, and then he lists donors, voters, election officials, he says will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences. One of your campaign's top lawyers responded saying, we won't let Donald Trump intimidate us. We won't let him suppress the vote. Is that what you believe he's trying to do here?
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair. And I'm going to tell you that I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace. And when you then talk in this way in a presidential debate and deny what over and over
I don't know,
again
man.
are court cases you
Danielle Smith versus Rachel Notley was way better.
lose that election. It leads one to believe that perhaps
Shit's
we do not
boring.
have in the candidate to my right the temperament or the ability to not be confused about fact.
I'm lagging
That's
bad.
deeply troubling, and the American people deserve better.
I'll give you 1 minute to respond, Mr. President.
Let me just say about world leaders. Viktor Orban, one of the most respected men, they call him a strong
I
man.
hate it when I
He's a tough person.
lag like that.
Smart. Prime Minister of Hungary. They said, why is the whole world blowing up? 3 years ago, it wasn't. Why is it blowing up? He said, because you need Trump back as president. They were afraid of him. China was afraid, and I don't like to use the word afraid, but I'm just quoting him. China was afraid of him. North Korea was afraid of him. Look at what's going on with North Korea, by the way. He said Russia was afraid of him. I ended the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, and Biden put it back on day one, but he ended the XL pipeline. The XL pipeline in our country, he ended that. But he let the Russians build a pipeline going all over Europe and heading into Germany, the biggest pipeline in the world. Look, Viktor Orban said it. He said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump. We had no problems when Trump was president, but when this weak, pathetic man that you saw at a debate just a few months ago, that if he weren't in that debate, he'd be running instead of her. She got no votes. He got 14 million votes. What you did, you talk about a threat to democracy. 10 million votes, and they threw him out of office. And you know what? I'll give you a little secret. He hates her. He can't stand her. But
Mr.
he
President.
got 14 million votes. They threw him out. She got 0 votes. And when
I think
she
the
ran,
song's right. It's just a like race to the bottom.
she failed. And now she's running. I don't understand it, but
Mr.
I'm okay
President,
with it
Mr.
because
President, your time is
I
up.
think we're
Thank
going to
you.
do very well.
We've got a lot more to get to.
Turning now
Yes.
to the Israel-Hamas war and the hostages who are still being held, Americans among them. Vice President Harris, in December, you said, quote, Israel has a right to defend itself, but you added, quote, it matters how.
Let's go.
Saying international humanitarian law must be respected. Israel must do more to protect innocent civilians. You said that 9 months ago. Now an estimated 40,000 Palestinians are dead. Nearly 100 hostages remain. Just last week, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said there's not a deal in the making. President Biden was able to break through the stalemate. How would you do it?
Well, let's understand how we got here. On October 7, Hamas, a terrorist organization, slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. Many of them young people who were simply attending a concert. Women were horribly raped. And so absolutely, I said then, I say now, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it so matters. Because it is also true, far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Children, mothers. What we know is that this war must end.
Yeah, if you vote for Donald
It
Trump,
must
it's a fail.
end immediately, and the way it will
Vote for
end
her,
is we need
because
a
Donald Trump will be
ceasefire deal,
worse.
and we will continue to work around the
Bruh.
clock on that. Work around the clock, also understanding that we must chart a course for a two-state solution. And in that solution, there must be security for the Israeli people and Israel, and in equal measure for the Palestinians. But the one thing I will
Yeah,
assure
and
you
lots of
all,
bombs for the
I
kids.
will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel. But we must have a
Can't even,
two-state
yeah.
solution where we can rebuild
Yeah,
Gaza,
fucking-
where the Palestinians have security, self-determination, and the dignity they so rightly
That's
deserve.
better.
President Trump, how would you negotiate with Netanyahu and also Hamas in order to get the hostages out and prevent the killing of more innocent civilians in Gaza?
If I were president, it would have never started. If I were president, Russia would have never, ever, I know Putin very well, he would have never, and there was no threat of it either, by the way, for 4 years, have gone into Ukraine
What about
and killed
Obama?
millions of people when you add it up, far worse than people. But when she mentions about Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror. And they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. It was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation, and now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Vice President Harris, he says you hate Israel.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows that. He's trying to, again, divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself. It is well known that he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant. It is well known he exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-un, and it is absolutely well known that these dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors. And that is why so many military leaders who you have worked with have told me you are a disgrace. That is why we understand that we have to have a president who is not consistently weak and wrong on national security, including the importance of upholding and respecting in highest regard our military.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
They're the ones, and she's the one that caused it, that's weak on national security by allowing every nation last month. A year, 168 different countries sending people into our country.
I'm getting sick of this shit. I'm going for a fucking...
Putin endorsed her last week.
Something. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'll be listening.
Because what he's gotten away with
I can't sit here for over an hour.
It wouldn't have happened with me.
Fucking bullshit back and forth.
The leaders of other countries think that they're weak and incompetent, and they are. They're grossly incompetent. And I just ask one question. Why does Biden go in and kill the Keystone Pipeline and approve the single biggest deal that Russia's ever made, Nord Stream 2, the biggest pipeline anywhere in the world going to Germany and all over Europe? Because they're weak and they're ineffective. And Biden, by the way, gets paid a lot of money.
Thank you. We have a lot of issues to get to.
We'll be right back with much more of this historic ABC News presidential debate from the National Constitution Center right here in Philadelphia. Back in a moment.
The ABC News presidential debate will continue after this.
So boring, bro.
It was a regular day for 19-year-old Melissa Witt.
Am I gonna make it? Oh, I know what it was for. I know why they did that. It was because they were just waiting for... there's this 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour, and if you haven't subscribed, then you'll see a 3-minute ad break. Fuck off, bro. What the fuck, bro? Sorry, one sec. Copy and paste. Halftime show, guys.
Yeah. Like the least
You're
you
so
can
lucky
do.
There we go.
He's been groiperfied.
Yeah.
Like if,
He's so fucking groiped up. Like the way he's talking about fucking
working?
the Haitians eating cats. Like I can't believe he just straight up said
Where's
that.
the audio?
did you see the Eric Erickson thing where he was freaking out? Like,
Yeah.
congratulations on getting this shit on national
Okay.
TV, you fucking morons.
Yeah, it is unimaginable. But like honestly, again, it is up to Kamala Harris at that moment. Like you can't rely on David Muir's sexy ass every time
Yeah.
to fucking offer you a goddamn lifeline every single moment that the debate is occurring. You know what I mean? And he did.
Yeah.
His sexy ass was out there being hot and also doing a lot more fact checking than I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah,
But-
I've actually really liked them. I've been like pleasantly surprised. Bringing up the number of Palestinians who have been killed. Like I didn't
Yeah.
expect that. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was shocking. Jake Tapper would never. Okay, Jake Tapper would be like,
Yeah.
like what, 10 Palestinians that maybe died and they deserved it. That's what he would say.
Yeah. They killed
Dana
themselves actually.
Yeah, Dana Bash would be hitting both of them on not being sufficiently pro-Israel. So that is actually shocking. Like the decent amount of moderation that's occurring here. But yeah, the Israel dick riding portion was fucking awful. It was disastrous. It was expected. And I think that it will, in my opinion, it will have electoral consequences. I don't know how you feel about that. We could talk about that
Yeah.
after the fact.
Yeah, I think that like it's just a larger thing that like with her team's fucked up mindset because she's kept all the Biden people. They just feel like for some reason they can't ever meaningfully break from Biden. I feel like the ingredients were here for her to have a bad performance. Like a lot of her lines are canned. A lot of the like bait on Trump looks kind of corny and like a non sequitur if he doesn't respond to it.
Yeah.
Like just but
And
like
he-
he is
He
giving them
ate it.
so
He
much.
ate it every time. Even the Charlottesville one. Like she would do throwaways, bro. She would just
Yeah.
like kind of drop random ones in there and he would be like, "Nope, I remember that and I'm going to address it." Which is shocking. Like it is worse than I thought. And I think like the failure point, like he was already shitty even against Joe Biden if you know, if you recall. But like Joe Biden obviously was cratering so hard that nobody even paid attention to how bad Trump was. Having said that, like you really saw it from the jump. But it absolutely fell apart after the crowd size shit. Like people are leaving your campaigns, I think was like the pivotal moment of the debate because
He's been seething. He's been seething.
Yeah, he hasn't stopped chirping since then. And I think like a lot of Americans just care about optics overall. And if you were like will this motivate more people to go out and vote for Kamala Harris? I don't know because like there isn't a lot of like policies past the opening monologue. But overall, I mean, she absolutely looks way more professional. Like she's doing, I mean, she is reminding people how fucking narcissistic Donald Trump is and showing like what a normal president would look like in a way that even Joe Biden wasn't able to do after 2020. So
yeah. It's it's just like I mean I'm like trying to keep track of like the pulse like with like just like searching stuff on Twitter. If you search Celtic Shaq, everybody's saying that he looks like Celtic Shaq. They're saying he's an insult to Celtic Shaq. Oh, there it is, back.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can clutch this out.
I think it's Joe.
Debate tonight. We're going to continue
Yeah,
here, and I want to
probably.
turn to the war in Ukraine. We're now 2.5 years into this conflict. Mr. President, it has been the position of the Biden administration that we must defend Ukraine from Russia, from Vladimir Putin, to defend their sovereignty, their democracy, that it's in America's best interest to do so, arguing that if Putin wins, he may be emboldened to move even further into other countries. You have said you would solve this war in 24 hours. You said so just before the break tonight. How exactly would you do that? And I want to ask you a very simple question tonight.
Another
Do you
Hassan
want
Abi line.
Ukraine to win this war?
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being uselessly.
Son's where it's at. That was beautiful halftime show. Oh, perfect timing. If you want real legitimate commentary, go there. I'm just fucking around. I'm not even American. I don't give a fuck. Fuck America.
When I said, either you pay up or we're not going to protect you anymore. So that's maybe one of the reasons they don't like me as much as they like weak people. But you take a look at what's happening. We're in for 250 to 275 billion. They're into 100 to 150. They should be forced to equalize. With that being said, I want to get the war settled. I know Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well. I have a good relationship, and they respect your president, okay? They respect me. They don't respect Biden. How would you respect him? Why? For what reason? He hasn't even made it.
But he blatantly went out and talked about him being charged with
oh, I know which guy you're talking about. Yeah.
President-elect. And what I'll do is I'll speak to one, I'll speak to the other, I'll get them together. That war would have never happened. And in fact, when I saw Putin after I left, unfortunately left because our country has gone to hell. But after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left. I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here...
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
Your time is up. Just to clarify in the question, do you believe it's in the U.S. best interests for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
I want to take this to Vice President Harris. I want to get your thoughts
on
support for Ukraine in this moment, but
Roses
also
are now
as Commander-in-Chief, if elected, how would you deal with Vladimir Putin, and would it be any different from what we're seeing from President Biden?
Does it work, Em?
Well, first of all, it's important to remind the former president you're not running against Joe Biden, you're running against me. I believe the reason that Donald Trump says that this war would be over within 24 hours is because he would just give it up. And that's not who we are as Americans. Let's understand what happened here. I actually met with Zelensky a few days before Russia invaded, tried through force to change territorial boundaries, to defy one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I met with President Zelensky. I shared with him American intelligence about how he could defend himself. Days later, I went to NATO's eastern flank, to Poland and Romania. And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. And understand what that would mean, because Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president, and that we understand the importance of the greatest military alliance the world has ever known, which is NATO, and what we have done to preserve the ability of Zelensky and the Ukrainians to fight for their independence. Otherwise, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Vice President Harris, thank you. We've heard from both of you on Ukraine tonight. Afghanistan came up in the last hour. I wanted her to respond to something you said earlier, and I'll give you a minute here.
Putin would be sitting in Moscow and he wouldn't have lost 300,000 men and women.
Wrong.
But he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please. He would have been sitting in Moscow much happier than he is right now. But eventually, you know, he's got a thing that other people don't have. He's got nuclear weapons. They don't ever talk about that. He's got nuclear weapons. Nobody ever thinks about that. And eventually, maybe he'll use them, and maybe he hasn't been that threatening. But he does have that, something we don't even like to talk about. Nobody likes to talk about it. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war because everything they said was weak and stupid.
Wrong.
They said the wrong things. That war should have never started. She was the emissary. They sent her in to negotiate with Zelensky and Putin, and she did. And the war started 3 days later. And that's the kind of talent we have with her. She's worse than Biden. In my opinion, I think he's the worst president in the history of our country. She goes down as the worst vice president in the history of our country. But let me tell you something. She is a horrible negotiator. They sent her in to negotiate. As soon as they left, Putin did the invasion.
President Trump, thank you. You did bring up something. You said she went to negotiate with Vladimir Putin. Vice President Harris, have you ever met Vladimir Putin? Can you clarify tonight?
Yet again, I said it at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that is another one. When I went to meet with President Zelensky, I've now met with him over 5 times. The reality is it has been about standing as America always should, as a leader upholding international rules and norms, as a leader who shows strength, understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here. The President of the United States is commander-in-chief. And the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
We've talked about Ukraine and Vladimir Putin. I do want to talk about Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of this debate. I want to move on to Afghanistan.
Stoltenberg said Trump did the most amazing thing I've ever seen. He got these countries, the 28 countries at the time, to pay up. He said, I've never seen. He's the head of NATO. He said, I've never seen. For years, we were paying almost all of NATO. We were being ripped off by European nations, both on trade and on NATO. I got them to pay up by saying one of the statements you made before, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. Otherwise, we would have never gotten it. He said it was one of the most incredible jobs that he's ever seen done.
Thank you. I want to turn to Afghanistan. It came up in the first hour of the debate, and we witnessed a poignant moment today on Capitol Hill, honoring the soldiers who died in the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. I do want to ask the Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision to pull out of Afghanistan. 4 presidents said they would, and Joe Biden did. And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war. And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president, negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban. The negotiation involved the Taliban getting 5,000 Taliban terrorists released. And get this, and the president at the time invited the Taliban to Camp David, a place of storied significance for us as Americans, a place where we honor the importance of American diplomacy, where we invite and receive respected world leaders. And this former president, as president, invited them to Camp David because he does not again appreciate the role and responsibility of the President of the United States to be commander-in-chief with a level of respect. And this gets back to the point of how he has consistently disparaged and demeaned members of our military, fallen soldiers, and the work that we must do to uphold the strength and the respect of the United States of America around the world.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, your response to her saying that you began the negotiations with the Taliban.
So, if you take a look at that period of time,
That was kind of slay.
the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fighting force within
I got
Afghanistan.
involved
They
with
don't
the
bother doing that
Taliban.
because, you know, they deal with the wrong people all the time. But I got involved. And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems. And he said, why do you send me a picture of my house? I said, you're going to have to figure that out, Abdul. And for 18 months, we had nobody killed. We did have an agreement negotiated by Mike Pompeo. It was a very good agreement. The reason it was good, it was we were getting out. We would have been out faster than them, but we wouldn't have lost the soldiers. We wouldn't have left many Americans behind, and we wouldn't have left $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment behind. And just to finish, they blew it. The agreement said you have to do this, and they didn't do it. They didn't do it. The agreement was terminated by us because they didn't do what they were supposed to do.
I want to move on.
And these people did the worst withdrawal, and in my opinion, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. And by the way, that's why Russia attacked Ukraine, because they saw how incompetent she and her boss are.
President Trump, thank you. I want to move on now to race and politics in this country. Mr. President, you recently said of Vice President Harris, quote, I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. I want to ask a bigger picture question here tonight. Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
That's a good question.
I don't, and I don't care. I don't care what she is. I don't care. You make a big deal out of something. I couldn't care less. Whatever she wants to be is okay with me.
But those were your words, so I'm asking.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out, and I'll say that. And then I read that she was black, and that's okay. Either one was okay with me. That's
Look
up
at
to
her
her
face.
That's up to her.
Vice President Harris, your thoughts on this?
I think it's, I mean, honestly, I think it's
Got him.
a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people. You know, I do believe that the vast majority of us know that we have so much more in common than what separates us, and we don't want this kind of approach that is just constantly trying to divide us, and especially by race. And let's remember how Donald Trump started. He was land, he owned buildings.
A small loan of $1 million.
He was investigated because he refused to rent property to black families. Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5. Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution. This is the same individual who spread birther lies about the first black president of the United States.
He did do that.
And I think the American people want better than that, want better than this. Want someone who understands, as I do, I travel our country. We see in each other a friend. We see in each other a neighbor. We don't want a leader who is constantly trying to have Americans point their fingers at each other. I meet with people all the time who tell me, can we please just have discourse about how we're going to invest in the aspirations and the ambitions and the dreams of the American people? knowing that regardless of people's color or the language their grandmother speaks, we all have the same dreams and aspirations and want a president who invests in those, not in hate and division.
Vice President Harris, thank you. Lindsay?
President Trump, this is now your third time.
This is the most divisive presidency in the history of our country. There's never been anything like it. They're destroying our country, and they come up with things like what she just said. Going back many, many years, when a lot of people, including Mayor Bloomberg, agreed with me on the Central Park Five, they admitted, they said, they pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty. But this is a person that has to stretch back years, 40, 50 years ago, because there's nothing now. I built one of the greatest economies in the history of the world, and I'm going to build it again. It's going to be bigger, better, and stronger. But they're destroying our economy. They have no idea what a good economy is. Their oil policies, every single policy. And remember this, she is Biden. You know, she's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman, she says. She is Biden. The worst inflation we've ever had, a horrible economy because inflation has made it so bad, and she can't get away with that.
Thank you. Your time is up, Lindsay.
I want to respond to that, though. I want to just respond briefly. Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
Okay,
One
I'm
who
putting the mega hat
believes
back on.
in what is possible, one who brings a sense of optimism about what we can do instead of always disparaging the American people. I believe in what we can do to strengthen our small businesses, which is why I have a plan. Let's talk about our plans and let's compare the plans. I have a plan to give startup businesses $50,000 tax deduction, to pursue their ambitions, their innovation, their ideas, their hard work. I have a plan, $6,000 for young families for the first year of your child's life, to help you in that most critical stage of your child's development. I have a plan that is about allowing people to be able to pursue what has been fleeting in terms of the American dream by offering a help with down payment of $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. That's the kind of conversation, I believe, David, that people really want tonight, as opposed to a conversation that is constantly about belittling and name-calling. Let's turn the page
Vice President
and move
Harris,
forward.
thank you. Let's turn to policy.
President Trump, we have to move on. President Trump.
Let's turn to policy, please.
She has a plan to defund the police. She has a plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
President Trump,
she
we
has
do
a
have to
plan
move
to
on to
not
other
allow
issues.
fracking in Pennsylvania or anywhere else.
Okay,
that's what her plan is.
And your plan is to ban abortion.
President Trump,
No, the
President
former
Trump,
president has said
no,
something
sorry.
twice that I need to respond to.
I'm sorry. We're
I just
going
need
to move
respond
on, Vice
one
President
time
Harris.
to what he has
President
said
Trump, this is
multiple
now
times.
your
Yes.
third time running for president. You have long
Wrong.
vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. You have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better.
Correct.
Last month, you said, quote, we're working on it. So tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan, and can you tell us what it is?
Obamacare was lousy health care, always was. It's not very good today. And what I said, that if we come up with something, and we are working on things, we're going to do it and we're going to replace it. But remember this, I inherited Obamacare because Democrats wouldn't change it. They wouldn't vote for it. They were unanimous. They wouldn't vote to change it. If they would have done that, we would have had a much better plan than Obamacare. But the Democrats came up. They wouldn't vote for it. I had a choice to make when I was president. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, never going to be great, or do I let it rot? And I felt I had an obligation, even though politically it would have been good to just let it rot and let it go away. I decided, and I told my people, the top people, and they're very good people. I have a lot of good people in that administration. We read about the bad ones. We had some real bad ones, too, and so do they. They have really bad ones. The difference is they don't get rid of them. But let me just explain. I had a choice to make. Do I save it and make it as good as it can be, or do I let it rot? And I saved it. I did the right thing. But it's still never going to be great, and it's too expensive for people. And what we will do is we're looking at different plans. If we can come up with a plan that's going to cost our people, our population, less money and be better health care than Obamacare, then I would absolutely do it. But until then, I'd run it as good as it can be run.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And there are concepts and options we have
Is that the real Brad
to do
guy?
that.
What's
and
up,
you'll
Brad
be hearing
guy?
about it in the not-too-distant future.
Vice President Harris, in 2017, you supported Bernie Sanders' proposal to do away with private insurance and create a government-run healthcare system. 2 years later, you proposed a plan that included a private insurance option. What is your plan today?
Well, first of all, I absolutely support, and over the last 4 years as vice president, private health care options. But what we need to do is maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act. But I'll get to that, Lindsay. I just need to respond to a previous point that the former president has made. I've made very clear my position on fracking. And then this business about taking everyone's guns away. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. As it relates to the Affordable Care Act, understand, just look at the history to know where people stand. When Donald Trump was president, 60 times he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. 60 times. I was a senator at the time when I will never forget the early morning hours when it was up for a vote in the United States Senate. And the late, great John McCain, who you have disparaged as being, you don't like him, you said, at the time because he got caught. He was an American hero. The late, great John McCain, I will never forget that night, walked onto the Senate floor and said, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't get rid of the Affordable Care Act. You have no plan. And what the Affordable Care Act has done is eliminate the ability of insurance companies to deny people with pre-existing conditions. I don't have to tell the people watching tonight, you remember what that was like? Remember when an insurance company could deny if a child had asthma, if someone was a breast cancer survivor, if a grandparent had diabetes? And thankfully, as I've been vice president and we, over the last 4 years, have strengthened the Affordable Care Act, we have allowed for the first time Medicare to negotiate drug prices on behalf of you, the American people. Donald Trump said he was going to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices. He never did. We did. And now we have capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month. Since I've been vice president, we have capped the cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000 a year. And when I am president, we will do that for all people, understanding that the value I bring to this is that access to health care should be a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. And the plan has to be to strengthen the Affordable
Lots
Care
of rich
Act,
people
not
really
get rid
want
of
to
it.
pay for
That's
healthcare.
just prologue in terms of where Donald
tons
Trump
of people
stands
that
on
are
that.
rich that want to pay for healthcare. They have no problem with it.
Number one,
His words, not mine.
John McCain fought Obamacare for 10 years. But it wasn't only him. It were all of the Democrats that kept it going. And you know what? We can do much better than Obamacare, much less money. But she won't improve private insurance for people, private medical insurance. That's another thing she doesn't want to get. People are paying privately for insurance that have worked hard and made money, and they want to have private. She wants everybody to be on government insurance where you wait 6 months for an operation that you need immediately.
President Trump, thank you. We have another issue that we'd like to get to that's important for a number of Americans, in particular younger voters, and that's climate change. President Trump, with regard to the environment, you say that we have to have clean
Vote in the poll in the top corner over there.
Climate change an existential threat. The
Vote in the poll.
is what would you do to fight? With you, 1 minute for you each.
Well, the former president had said that climate change is a hoax. And what we know is that it is very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being jacked up. You ask anybody who has been the victim of what that means in terms of losing their home, having nowhere to go. We know that we can actually deal with this issue. The young people of America care deeply about this issue. And I am proud that as vice president over the last 4 years, we have invested $1 trillion in a clean energy economy while we have also increased domestic gas production to historic levels. We have created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs while I have been vice president. We have invested in clean energy to the point that we are opening up factories around the world. Donald Trump said he was going to create manufacturing jobs. He lost manufacturing jobs. And I'm also proud to have the endorsement of the United Auto Workers and Sean Fain, who also know that part of building a clean energy economy includes investing in American-made products, American automobiles. It includes growing what we can do around American manufacturing and opening up auto plants, not closing them like happened under Donald Trump.
Vice President Harris, thank you.
That didn't happen under Donald Trump. Let me just tell you, they lost 10. It's going, they're all.
Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
They're going to sell their cars into the United States because of these people. What they have given to China is unbelievable. But
Vote
we're
in
not
the
going to
poll.
let that. We'll put
The
tariffs
top
on those cars so they
corner
can't
over
come
there.
into our country because they will kill
Right up here.
United Auto Workers and any auto
Vote
worker,
in
whether it's
the
in
poll.
Detroit or South Carolina or any other place. What they've done to business and manufacturing in this country is horrible. We have nothing because they refuse. You know, Biden doesn't go after people because supposedly China paid him millions of dollars. He's afraid to do it. Between him and his son, they get all this money from Ukraine. They get all this money from all of these different
He's so
countries.
boring.
And then you wonder, why is he so loyal to this
Why
one,
is he
that
so
one, Ukraine,
boring?
China? Why is he? Why did he get $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? Why did she pay him $3.5 million? This is a crooked administration, and they're selling our country down the tubes.
President Trump, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with closing statements from both of our candidates. An historic night, this ABC News presidential debate from Philadelphia. Back in a moment.
The ABC News presidential debate will continue after this.
Baywatch is a fantasy. Baywatch was sexy.
Which I thought was kind of weird. Like that went like kind of like weirdly smoothly. He sounded terrible. I think that like right now like the poly market like odds for like who wanted the debate is like 95% for Kamala, which like I think will be true. They usually have like the intra like the one big thing that I was like really kind of shocked by that I was surprised that she didn't really hit him on. He got baited on the fucking Central Park 5. He said they were guilty. Like,
yeah,
God, yeah, that was one thing he got baited on, I guess. Like, oh, it's not over yet. Somebody said it's over, but it's not. It's still,
no. There's the final monologue that they're gonna do their final closing statements, which I suspect is gonna be exactly the same shit that they've said. For better or for worse, both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are just like kind of going and doing exactly what they've been doing. Like, her Israel stuff was just like obviously dog shit. I think that there was my analysis on this, and I've been saying this for quite some time now, is that on the issue of like not the Afghan withdrawal necessarily, that was a powerful moment for Kamala Harris, like actually standing on that. Even though she flubbed the first half.
Yeah,
I will.
I'll be right back.
Like, I think Donald Trump presented himself as a peaceful dove against Hillary Clinton in 2016, and a lot of voters responded positively to that. Obviously, Clinton had a lot of additional baggage on top of everything else, but he was not even able to do.
What the fuck happened?
Third trimester abortions, like, what point would you ever restrict abortion if you would? Like, that kind of
Yeah, well, she just
question
says
would
I
be.
support Roe. That's like that's the line. They don't ever like say, "Oh, Roe means you have this sort of type of restriction."
Yeah.
So
And-
that maybe kind of doesn't
but
make this
because he
clear as
was
it
lying
should
about
be.
like post-birth abortions and shit, that like he wouldn't even be able to hit like a good line of attack on Kamala Harris on that front. And I think that that similar attitude presented itself even when he was talking about like, you know, Russia and Israel Palestine. Like in a lot of moments where he didn't really talk about Israel Palestine like throughout this entire process throughout the past 11 months. Whenever he did, he presented himself as like the guy who's going to end it, right? The guy who's going to end it all. And I think at this point he should have probably had like some way of ending it. Like he could say something beyond like, nah, I'm just going to end it.
Yeah, that
and
would have
he
worked in 2016, I think, when like the whole concept was like, oh, I'm like this person, I can get shit done. I'm like this competent like outsider. That was like a really big underrated part of his appeal, I think, and that shine has gone off after he's already been president. Like when he has to like kind of say like, oh, half of my administration was morons, but like I'm gonna do it better this time. And also like I don't talk with JD Vance about anything. It's just it's the Celtics Shaq phenomenon. He's Celtics Trump.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like he fucked up on 3 strong suits that he could hammer Kamala Harris on. By going too hard on immigration, he fucked up on that front. And I think like he lied far too much, which kind of cooked him a little bit. I think he also fucked up on
fact checkers. They're mauling about ABC.
Yeah, everyone is getting mauled about ABC. The debate is coming back, but I think that it was good that they actually did moderate the debate. You shouldn't be able to get away with lying that much on national television on a presidential debate. So fuck everybody.
Statements, and Vice President Harris, we begin with you.
So I think you've heard tonight 2 very different visions for our country. One that is focused on the future, and the other that is focused on the past, and an attempt to take us backward. But we're not going back. And I do believe that the American people know we all have so much more in common than what separates us, and we can chart a new way forward. And a vision of that includes having a plan, understanding the aspirations, the dreams, the hopes, the ambition of the American people, which is why I intend to create an opportunity economy, investing in small businesses, in new families, in what we can do around protecting seniors, what we can do that is about giving hardworking folks a break and bringing down the cost of living. I believe
after this is over, I'm doing a reset.
That is about sustaining America's standing in the world and ensuring that we have the respect that we so rightly deserve, including respecting our military and ensuring we have the most lethal fighting force in the world. I will be a president that will protect our fundamental rights and freedoms, including the right of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. I'll tell you, I started my career as a prosecutor. I was a DA, I was an attorney general, a United States senator, and now vice president. I've only had one client, the people. And I'll tell you, as a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. To build back up our country by investing right now in you, the American people.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump?
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it, and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like We're not going to frack. We're not going to take fossil fuel. We're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year, they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question. Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughing. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're going to end up in a third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry. I rebuilt our entire military.
And almost put us into World War III.
To the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan.
To be fair, they almost did too.
What these people have done to our country, and maybe
He
toughest
works
of
with
all
the
is
Taliban.
allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're destroying our worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
President Trump, thank you. And that is our ABC News presidential debate from here in Philadelphia at the National Constitution Center.
All right, I'm doing a reset. I will be right back in like 2 minutes. That was fucking brutal for me. So I'm going to do a reset and then we're going to go back. That was so boring.
So where you're from?
Where do you want me to be from?
What's up, guys? All right. I am over it. Okay, I'm gonna do a reset right now. I'll be right back. I'd say that was a success. You know, that was fun. Also not fun for me because it was slow. It was a little slow, if I must say. Oh boy. Okay. Go live. We're gonna finally go back to the old-fashioned cell phone. All right. We are back. Let's see what happens when we... Oh, I know what to do. Claim, claim, claim. Bro, I just claimed so many. Oh my God. Okay. So we have, okay, so let's set one of these off. Boom. Well, that was so much fun. Good Lord. That was a lot. Same shit. Kamala kind of killed it. I wasn't expecting her to do such a good job at like baiting him and shit. Like he was taking the bait. I was like, bro, you didn't practice for this or something? Like the fuck? Okay, just give me one sec. Boom. I like looked at the chat and all I could see was conversation about the price of eggs. I'm like, that's all we care about is the price of eggs. Like, I'm sure a trade war wouldn't help, you know? I don't think that's the way to go about it. But, you know, who am I? I'm not an economist or anything, right? So, what do I know? Oh, man. America's fucked. Colt 45. Yeah, word. That's well said. Well said. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, well, if anybody wants to come up, feel free. I am not in the mood to... Oh, one sec. Let's see what happens here. See if that... See if that...
want to suggest, and we don't want to suggest any idea.
What kind of watch party is it? What kind of watch party is it? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No. You had a watch party? No. You had a watch party?
I kind of did, yeah, I guess. I haven't watched that.
Probably had better commentary than me. I haven't slept in like 25 hours. I'm Team Trump now. I'm Team Trump now. And it does sleep deprivation. It does it to you. Yeah. Yeah. I hit my head on the wall like 50 times yesterday last night. Didn't get any sleep last night. Now I'm a Trump supporter.
I'm a Trump supporter.
Yeah, buddy. Trump 2024. Trump 2024. Let's go. What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
What are you doing? Besides that, how do I change? Oh, that's the new button. Oh, that's the new button. How do I change my view now?
You hit the more button, and you hit flip camera, and you hit flip camera.
You're an asshole.
There we go.
Fuck, I want to go get my sunglasses. Into this fucking water.
Thoughts on the debate?
Harris killed it.
The beginning was a little slow. The beginning was a little slow, but then after that, I was like,
I agree. We said in there going into the commercials that Harris trying to get him to talk more.
Bro. Yeah. Fucking doing weird shit.
This is weird.
Yeah,
shit.
I was waiting for I was waiting for a break, I was waiting 30 for minutes. Break. It felt like for like 30 minutes. Happened. I was like, oh my God, I'm so done. And then the break happened. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so done with this debate. Kamala was killing it. Trump, I could not fucking follow. Was killing it. What are you? Trump, I could not fucking follow. What are you fucking talking about? It was like listening to Joe Biden. What are you fucking talking about? It was like listening to Joe Biden.
I agree.
Oh man.
I agree. It was pretty.
Oh man.
I think it was pretty. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I was surprised that she held back so well. I was surprised that she held back so well. But she fucking been more aggressive. It was like watching a boxing fight, you know, like she was like watching a boxing fight, you know, like she just like hunted him down, bang, bang. And then the second to closing, not the closing statement, the moment closing, not the closing statement where she went on about healthcare and stuff like that. Statement where she went on about healthcare and stuff like that. That shit got me choked up, man. 300 million fucking people, you know, like there's like 300 million that don't have healthcare, like a proper healthcare, you know, like that don't have healthcare, like a proper healthcare package.
This is what I learned when I fucking remember when I started on TikTok. I did that fucking remember when I started on TikTok. I did that run and I was LARPing as an American. So it was Joe Biden versus Trump at that time. And I was like Joe Biden versus Trump at that time. I wouldn't call them debates. And I was like having like sitting in while they debated. Debates. I was just kind of like sitting in while they debated. And I was just kind of stirring the pot. I was trying to like defend Biden. I was trying to like this Trump supporter was like Biden. Just completely fucking cooked him, and I'm like, just completely fucking cooked him, and I don't know what to say. You guys are fucked. That was the moment when I realized how you guys are fucked. That was the moment when I realized how fucked America really is.
Certain issues that you could target certain issues that you could pull apart, like certain issues on a macro level, break it apart and be like it's unrealistic or unattainable because like it's unrealistic or unattainable because of these sorts of things, or he's outright lying. Like it's not too hard to do that. But when you look on the big sphere and you're like, okay, well, 72% of promises were kept during the administration.
How about that question where it was like, why haven't you fixed this yet? I don't know. Maybe you have the Supreme Court and what is it, Congress? Like all they have is the Senate. How the fuck are they supposed to do anything?
Yeah, that's exactly what we said over here. Like, I mean, that's a loaded question. Like,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I got a new soundbite from him though. I'm super happy about. He's like, I worked with the Taliban. Something like that. Oh, bro, I was like, you just you did not.
She went off on there, bro. Like she went off of there.
Well, I mean, wasn't the Taliban technically made by like the CIA or some shit? They like funded the Taliban and then the Taliban turned on them. Isn't it something like that? I could swear there was something like that.
Yeah, they have a Biden promise tracker. I've never looked it up.
Bro, it was kind of fun doing a watch party. I'm not gonna lie. I it sucked because I'm tired as fuck. But like, still, it's nice being caught up on these types of things. You know, this is my debut into politics.
Man, I was super happy with that. With that debate, like to be fair, like I think I wasn't expecting that from Kamala because of her last debate with Tulsi Gabbard, and I was really blown away by her eloquence and her ability to like surgically dismantle Donald Trump. Like she had that guy choked, man. Like he couldn't fucking come up with anything. He was so mad. He was so red in the face. Like his whole face contorted by the end of it. Like he came out all super proud and like I'm gonna fucking own the shit out of this. And all of a sudden at the end, he looked like fucking Worm Tongue from fucking Lord of the Rings, hunched over.
It was like me, man. I was like, fuck, man. I've been up for like almost 30, probably 30 hours by now. Yeah, it's about 30 hours. I know how he feels, you know. That's just what it's like when you turn 82 years old or whatever.
Imagine, eh? Like that's a long ways for me, but not that long. But like, that's fucking insane. I gotta start drinking more fucking mushroom tea. I got an appointment to talk to my doctor about ADHD medicine, so that's pretty good. It's a big step for me if he approves it.
Oh, I can't wait for Happy on ADHD meds. That's gonna be the fucking best.
I have to go, like, cause he's like, you know, spend the $3,500 or whatever and go get a fucking assessment. I'm like, motherfucker, please, like, I ain't doing it. I ain't about that. Like, I ain't got fucking $3,500 to spend on myself.
Why do you have to pay $3,500 for an assessment?
It's psychiatric. It's not covered.
Bro, what? Oh yeah. Okay, so with me, it was like an emergency, I guess. So I guess I got different treatment. It was an emergency. I needed it. I had to go to school. So that was my emergency.
It is covered?
It should be.
Coverage.
Sounds like some Alberta bullshit.
Yeah, my son's got full coverage. Like my son is fucking sad. Like so we got him diagnosed. So that's working.
Bro, that was so much. I could not stand Donald Trump. He was so fucking boring. Like he's lost his fucking like charisma, I swear. That was the worst debate I've ever seen him do.
With the river.
That was the worst debate I've ever seen Donald Trump do. That was fucking terrible.
You got picked apart.
Like he was like he failed on the racism question. Dude, when she was like, saying what he said at Charlottesville. I'm like, ooh, that sounds familiar. Because of the both sides argument, right? But he did the other side where it's like, oh, there's fine people on both sides.
He dumped it down so much and then like completely evaded on direct attacks. He looked and like they said in the post interviews, like he took every single bait that she gave and fucking flew off the handle almost every time.
I could see it. I could tell when he fucking got a little agitated and he was going to start being sassy Trump. But like again, he just doesn't have that same energy he used to. It's like it's sad to see this man need presidency so bad, because if he doesn't win, he's probably going to be convicted of more felonies, and then he's going to be super fucked.
Well, the sentencing for the ones that he is convicted of happens in November. That's what she said on the air. She said, like,
he needs to win.
If he's elected in October, he can, like, wave his wand and be like, no, I'm cool.
Yep. Yeah, because sentencing takes a while, and there's no way that you can sentence a sitting president. Like, they have protection, and then he would be able to do like rewrite the laws.
Moment where, like, he was like, Abdul, the owner of, what was it? Like, I couldn't remember, but, like, it was fucking hilarious. He's like, I know Abdul. He's a great guy.
Yes, I work very closely with the Taliban. Very closely. Great people. Great people. Like, dude, I think that's a state secret. I don't think you're supposed to say that. Like, holy fuck.
I'm so shocked I didn't wake up my wife. I laughed so hard I wasn't even expecting it.
How are these conspiracy theorists not going off the fucking deep end right now with what Trump said in that debate?
Good night, Tammy.
It's crazy. They just believe everything he said. They're like, oh wow, yeah, Taliban, great people.
Taliban. She's like, he had the Taliban at Camp David. Are you hearing me right now? That's all I got from that, and I was like, you know, there's no way that Trump is going to win against Kamala if she keeps that up.
Right. Oh my God, the worst part of it was the Palestine one, because she gave the same response, and then he did the same response, and his response is always the same shit. It's like her response pissed me off, and then he started going, and he's like, it would have never happened. This is the worst presidency of United States history. It would have never happened if I was in office. Never happened. Like, holy fuck! And we just like,
there wouldn't have been a war.
I know Putin. Putin, great man, great man.
They were all afraid of me. Everybody respected Donald Trump.
Right? And then like 10 minutes later, he's like, yeah, they're going to put us in a nuclear war. Like, I kind of remember you flexing a big red button that was bigger than some other country's big red button. Like, oh, that was funny, though. I'll give Trump that. That was quite the way to fucking make peace with North Korea. Dude, yo, it's fucked.
What they did was they facilitated the whole fucking thing. It took like 3 years of planning.
Dude, I swear to God, Putin and Donald Trump meeting in the White House would have been like the most sketchy. There's probably like little specks of dust sitting in there that are just like DARPA stolen microphones, just listening to every little thing that fucking Biden is saying.
Oh, it would have been swept and swept twice and swept 3 times. They would have been in their underwear in the middle of a swimming pool, like treading water while talking.
Doses' video of me was pretty funny. I seen that. I was like bored of the debate, and I opened my friend's page on my alt account. Oh, man.
I did a search in fucking my toolbar or whatever. Like, to get to the debate, like while I was live. I'm like, oh, we'll check the debate, clickety click, and it's my whole search history's up.
Yeah, no. Streaming's a bitch, bro. Don't. I guarantee you do not.
Like a lot of it, right? Like, he surfs a lot of like YouTube and back and forth because we're like, get off of YouTube. He's like, I love YouTube, get off of YouTube. And then he jumps to Disney, right? And then it's like 10 minutes later, you're like, are you on YouTube? I'm like, yeah, I'm on YouTube. And you're just like, you know, I'm going to take the computer away for 3 days.
I hated that. That was the worst.
But I never do it because it's fucking here. Like, fuck.
It doesn't do anything. What we got? We got 13 more minutes. All right, let's go. And then we're going to go another 30 minutes. And then we're going to go another 30 minutes.
I played a couple of country songs for the commercial break.
I played Hassan. I just like, as soon as it was commercial break, I went straight to Hassan, went for a certain thing that you can't say on live stream. And I was just sitting outside, it's like raining, and I'm just like watching him like tear down the debate, and like, this is perfect halftime shit. Like, I had a good watch party. I had some technical issues during it, but like, I feel it's a different type of watch party than what I'm used to, because like, you can't fuck up. Like, you gotta, that shit's live and like, it's fast paced.
You don't want to speak the two people who you're there to watch too. And I'm surprised too that they didn't.
But there's also
focus more on Project 2025.
So there's also the thing that if you don't add to the content, then TikTok would suppress the content.
My content got suppressed because, like I said, like now it's most, but like it came up a warning, you know, and I was like,
yeah, I was just like, fake news. I didn't get any warnings or anything. I just screamed into the microphone like it was Trump.
I kept laughing like and commentating on the actual broadcast. But I think it's because those companies have like TikTok accounts and they stream from those and they want you to go there, right? Like
Dude, I swear to God, they were like hacking my fucking audio. Like my audio was back like for I was sitting there fucking my audio for like 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it started working again. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, it was, I didn't even do anything. I just turned stuff off, turned stuff back on, turned it off, turned it back on, and then all of a sudden the audio was like pretty lined up. But I was like, something was, there's something where, I was losing viewers because of it. It was frustrating.
All very frustrating. Down. I mean, the core people stayed through the whole thing, right? Like the people.
I was sitting like a solid 40, 50, something like that. Yeah. I think the most I got was like 70 people.
I think we were at like 30.
And that was when Hassan was talking, you know, fucking get over to Hassan, go for, you know, and then my views were just like, whoop. I'm like, nice, thanks Hassan, come back. I'm like, okay,
better not get these Hassan videos on my fucking FYP because you're talking about him.
Why, you don't like Hassan?
I don't even know. Never met him.
I'm gonna start posting Hassan W's so that they do show up on your FYP.
No, don't do that. That sucks. That sucks,
dude. He's fucking. I was in his live today, just watching him, and I'm like, bro, he has some good lectures. That's for sure.
You're going to the Fact Checks Mayhem?
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
It does kind of sound like fun. On the CBS, I would like Hassan. Yes.
Dude, Hassan's the best.
Oh,
I can't believe you don't. Oh my God, Jimmy. When I played Hassan, was like, he's a white presenting male without an Anglo-Saxon name.
What?
Yeah, that's what he said. He's like, this is not an Anglo-Saxon name. I'm like, bruh. And then they were sitting there trying to figure out like where he's from. I'm like, bruh, he's Turkish. Took them forever. They're like, they're from this country, I'm like, holy fuck, guys. I already told you. Yeah, that was fucking funny. And then what I did is I just like played the video and then I like skateboarded to a store to get a soda pop, and Jimmy's sitting there like, look at what he's doing. And then the clip of me at that time, I'm just like skateboarding down the street. Like Jimmy's probably so mad right now that he's got a late watch party. And it was like in real time. It was beautiful. Just set him up. Oh man. Doing this shit no sleep is a rough one.
Are they fact checking on CNN or is it just CTV? Harris baits Trump in contentious first debate. That's the initial reaction we got. Taylor Swift endorsed Harris. I'm pretty sure that was a gimme. I don't know. That wouldn't be a stretch.
Taylor Swift endorsing Harris? Of course. She fucking hates Trump. They also were using like AI art to like do like fake endorsements of Donald Trump with her face. It was fucked.
Really?
Yeah, man. Because Twitter came out with that new AI that has like no rules, which is bad because you can pretty much make illegal content with it, such as like Mickey Mouse. You know, the classic, don't fuck with Mickey Mouse or you'll get a DMCA like a motherfucker, right? Yeah. It would be like Mickey Mouse and like other Disney characters like doing illegal things. Yeah. Elon Musk is definitely getting sued for that.
I see Elon Musk taking a big spiral. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
He posted
Trump invited the Taliban to Camp David before canceling the meeting. What?
He,
the Taliban signed a deal.
You have Twitter X?
Kind of. I haven't set it up very good.
Elon Musk is on.
Time on this.
And he had this post of himself, and he was like staring off into like this like sunset with the wind, and like he had like an airborne fucking bomber jacket. And he looked all heroic and stoic, super lean everywhere. And like his picture up in the corner, you could see him. And he's all like, you know, bloated and like juiced out. He's now. It is a pretty fucking funny contrast.
Sorry, I kind of zoned out there. I'm like getting like a bunch of shit fucking working. I got 6 more minutes, and then I got. Yeah, 6 more minutes. Did I say 13 minutes before?
I thought
I said 8 minutes before.
I live in the now, dude.
No way, that was only 2 minutes. So, in September 2019, Trump announced he was gonna... Dude, it's so hard to even give a shit about American politics anymore. It's just so cooked over there.
I like some aspects of paying attention, you know? Like there was like 432 mass. There was like 432 mass fucking pew pew events this year. 33. So far. 33. Like it's insane. Today, like, it's insane.
So do you think that Trump would put a nationwide abortion ban? Because I don't think he would do that. Nationwide abortion ban? Because I don't think he would do that. I think he would just leave it up to the state, which is pretty much the same as a nationwide abortion ban. Which is pretty much the same as a nationwide abortion ban at this point.
I think he would do what he could to go nationwide. I think he would do what he could to go nationwide with it. But I think in the States, you can go nationwide, like with cannabis legalization. Independent states can opt out and not recognize that as law. So like some states still prosecute cannabis. I don't know if they still do, but they did after the feds had announced that it was legalized. So there was a lot of like back and forth. Supreme Court judgments on that. So even if they did, you would have that kind of a result.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's also the other thing. There's also the other why thing. The fuck, like, did why that shit all happen? Did that shit all happen under Biden?
Because he put the framework in for it. Like, you know, like,
But how is Kamala going to stop that? Biden couldn't do it. Biden couldn't do it.
Active player in the administration right now. She's the vice president for a reason, right? Like, she is the number one diplomat for the United States.
Oh, yeah, maybe they could be like, okay, so we will have abortions, and you can bomb children in Israel. Maybe that could be the deal. Maybe that could be the deal.
Well, nobody's going to contest the bombing in Israel to a degree where they're going to really have any real life implications against Israel.
1,200 Israeli were murdered and raped on what was it? October 7th. I was like, bro. Not just Israelis,
right? Like, you know, you'll have a lot of
fucking lose because of
issues with even understanding the dynamics of the realities of Israel and Palestine, right? You're only going to know what was really told to them in the papers. So you'll have a favorable, at least maybe not paying attention, like apathetic perspective on how Israel is dealing with Palestine and the United States overall. I would bet like 60 to 70%, if not 80% of the Americans are like, what Israel is doing is fine. And you have 20% that are either protesting or vocal about pro-Palestine ideologies.
Yeah, I don't know. That shit pisses me off. That shit pisses me off. That they're just like,
it's got to really tug at empathetic people. If you have any sense of humanity or feeling for someone, you're going to see that situation and be like somebody's clearly outmatched. You're not going to be able to like morally justify what's going on at all. You can't square that corner.
Well, what it looks like is two politicians sitting there and basically being like, we're mutual on this topic. We're just going to attack each other in the most petty ways possible without actually answering the question.
Yeah, I think Trump resorted to personal attacks later on in the debate and really made him look weak compared to his counterpart. Kamala Harris, really concise in her delivery.
She was so messy at the end.
And she related with people based on her history, the way she grew up, her parents, and her devotion to public service throughout her entire career is going to really make it difficult to overlook her come election time.
Yeah, that was the worst part of the debate. That was the worst part of the debate, in my opinion.
How well she did?
No, just like the Palestine part was hard for me to listen to because I've heard the same shit over and over, and it's like
tuned out for that.
Pisses me off.
I would say so. I'd say a lot of people probably tuned out at that moment. We're like, okay, we're not even voting. There goes 30% of all the vote.
Oh yeah.
I think you're gonna get. They're gonna get record-breaking turnout for this vote. Almost guaranteed. If she does another debate like this, where she chews them out.
I don't think they're doing another one. Are they?
They're scheduled for one more, but who knows?
I can't wait for the Walls. Vance is such a fucking loser. Oh, I can't wait for the Walls Vance debate. That shit's gonna be. Because Walls is the
election on this, I can't wait to see Tim Walz and Vance. Vance is like a religious evangelical type person, right? Like
he's like what's his face? That guy, the Florida guy. That's like Florida guy. Oh my god, you're so cool. And he talks like a lizard person that's going through puberty. fuck the governor of Florida. What's his face? The
Ron
can't even remember.
Ron
Ron
DeSantis.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis.
Yeah. He's fucking hilarious too.
That's who JD Vance reminds me of.
Yeah, but Ron DeSantis isn't religious like JD Vance is. I think JD Vance says like I will never do anything without at least having underwear on. God knows how they have kids, right? Like I think he's one of those types of people. And you know, the thing about Tim Walz is like he's every fucking Republican's kind of like American story, you know. And it's gonna be difficult to look at him and be like, I don't like that guy.
I'm a be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Give me 2 secs. Give me 2 secs.
Yeah. JD Vance is an eventually. Yeah, that's gonna be even worse. Like. He's gonna be talking about shit that like literally nobody believes in except for 10% of the people in the country. You know. Actually, I don't know how many people are evangelical. I know there's a lot of Christians and Catholics, but evangelical is different. No, I'm not going crazy, but lately my head and my heart seem to
I'm back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Isaac Unleashed. Welcome back, Isaac.
How's it going?
Wonderful to have you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All good, man.
Doing little TikTok
tricks. Do you have any of
tricks.
those little dudes? Like, these things?
Not that I'm aware of.
Are these called Fun Pops?
No, I don't have any bubbleheads.
No, they're like fucking Fun Pops.
What's up, Sonny?
Boxes and Funko Pops. And that's it.
That person talking in the background sounds like Rob. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna stop giving these assholes clout. Once we stop giving them clout, then they're not gonna be able to have any content. They wouldn't have any content without us. They're just leeching off of us. We need to eliminate the clout. Once we take away the podium that they... See that video of Lucky Charms or whatever?
Oh man, that guy's just fucking running circles around
What
himself.
we need to do is we need to take away the podium that he stands on.
Let's
Caesar
eliminate free
must
speech.
fall.
Let's eliminate free speech, guys. Let's all make a concerted effort to cancel and suppress speech.
That's what it was. It was lots of fun. I had lots of fun watching that shit. I was like, bro, you're crazy. I don't know.
Got a couple more.
Bum, 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 bum.
Lucky Charms is pretty funny, man. Like, I mean, he's again, like, he's one of those people you can say, like, I don't know if he's really dangerous per se, but like, he is what he is. False claims made during the debate. Donald Trump's 33 plus Kamala Harris won.
Well, I really have no doubts that if he were to like see me in person, he'd be like, "I'm gonna take one for the team. I'll catch a charge." But like,
I don't know if he would want to go to jail. Like, I think he'd try to provoke you. Like, I don't think he would swing first. I don't think he would attack. Like, I think he would try to provoke you so that because it does more damage, right? Oh, this lefty attacked me, like blah 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 blah. But like, I don't think he would be able to throw the first.
Sometimes you got to take their bait a little bit to see how they'll react, and like, holy fuck, he acted like the biggest little bitch I've ever seen on TikTok. That was crazy, man.
Yeah,
he's like,
threw a little temper tantrum.
Guys, I'm scared. I'm scared of Isaac. Oh, like, what are you fucking doing, dude? And it was like so fake, and everybody was like, "Yeah,
right? Like,
go to the police." I'm like, okay, so do you have that same energy when I go to the police, or like, the fuck?
Yeah, because Jimmy played the whole tape, right, on a live. And I watched the live. I was like, play the whole tape. Don't play the edited fucking like to the second recording, right? Like, because it's like cut right there, and
they muted me too.
you know, and then during the live, Jimmy played the whole thing. Right. And I was like, well, fuck, man. If you listen to the whole thing, you're like, it's a fucking cartoon. You know, like,
it was like,
none of it is real. Like,
essentially, my point was this is the internet, and your threats to me are about as scary as my threats to you. Like, and then he's like, I got threatened. I'm scared. I'm like, no, you fucking not. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I was like, that's that. These are real fish, by the way. I took pictures of these at the local place. We might get a couple of them.
Is that you?
They glow in the dark.
Is that you swimming there?
No.
They glow in the dark? That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
My buddy used to breed fish like, well, he still does. I just haven't seen him in a while. He like breeds those fish, and his garage was pretty much just all luminescent fish. And each fish was worth like stupid amount of money. I was like, what the
I don't even want to tell my kid that, because that's all he's going to obsess over that shit and be like, fuck that. Let's get that done. I need some Lego. That's just expensive.
Yeah. So when I was selling solar, I came across a fish farm. The dude was spending so much money on electricity that it wasn't even like, there's no way it's worth it unless you go solar.
I love it. We can't wait. We got our roof redone this year, so it's gonna be a little bit, but like definitely when we move into our next place, we're gonna look for solar energy.
Word. I wonder if TikTok's mad that I did a reset. Maybe I shouldn't have done a reset. Oh well, live and learn. I completely tried a bunch of new shit tonight, and I'd say it worked out pretty good, you know? It shouldn't have worked out like that. I didn't even get a warning. It's impressive.
I got a couple warnings.
Just for like
That's
not
right.
not engaging with the content enough?
That's probably what it was, yeah. I didn't read it. It was like, I think it had something to do with broadcasting something.
Yeah, unoriginal content or something like that.
Yeah, and it was like, we'll stop gifting. You know, you won't be allowed to receive gifts.
Oh, so I think what you got to do is you have to, next time there's a feature where you can have your face and you can record the back camera.
Yeah.
So I think if you did that and you just like had your face in the corner, then it would allow you to do it, and you can like zoom in. Yeah, that's what you got to do next time. Cause yeah, no, my views are just sitting at 14 right now. I'm like, come on, I did a reset and my views are at 14. We got to keep talking about the debate. We're gonna get the mega back.
They're talking mega. Yeah, we had a couple people come through and mega supporters.
Dude, my goal was to like trick them, and then yeah, my goal was pretty much just to trick the mega people so that they were like, is this guy actually a Trump supporter or
No. Well, I mean, you can be whatever you want to be. I assume no. When I first saw the MAGA hat, I was like, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, no. I was definitely just memeing. I'm so tired, though. I wish I got more sleep, but I was like, I've been fucking wired for like 15 hours straight. Like, yeah, because I was live for like 9 hours at night, and then at like 5 in the morning, I stopped going live, and then I zoned out for like 5 hours, and then after that, I was just so wired. I'm like, let's go.
Nah.
And then Donald Trump started talking. I'm like, oh my God.
Man, Donald Trump started talking. I tried to like be quiet the way, let's hear what he has to say. And then, he said some of the stupidest shit, and I would start laughing. I couldn't stop it. It was just the way it was.
Dude, the fucking... I need to find that soundbite of the Taliban comment. That was so funny. I need to rip that soundbite for a gift.
You'll be able to get pretty much whatever you want if you go to see it, I think.
Oh, no, you can do it right now for sure. You just... there's a transcript. So... Because they had closed captions on it. There's no transcript yet. Damn it. Oh,
you're right, eh?
Or no, this isn't even the debate.
I think I might buy one. Oura. Evolution of Smart Ring. What the fuck are you talking about? Oura. $400 for an Oura ring. You can suck my fucking enthusiasm right out of this whole idea. You get $650 for a fucking ring. That's only size 8. Better not be more expensive if it goes up. $650 for a ring. A smart ring. Have you heard of these things?
Because the Taliban was doing the killing. That's the fight.
Where is it? I want to see this. What did he say? It was so funny.
Period of time. The Taliban was killing our soldiers.
Come on. I want to find it so bad now.
Thank you. Taliban. So, if you take a look at that period of time, the Taliban was killing our soldiers, a lot of them, with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban.
There it is. And I got involved with the Taliban.
With the Taliban.
Oh, that soundbite right there is like not a good one. Like it's definitely clip chimping, but like.
And I got involved with the Taliban.
Like without context, it sounds so bad.
A lot of them with snipers. And I got involved with the Taliban.
Like, okay, Trump. Good job.
Oh, and the way he was talking about the wars too, that was fucked up.
We don't have TikTok trigger words around here, guys. Come on. Have you not been around long enough? Like, I don't get in trouble.
That'd be all right though, buying one of those Oura rings. Have you seen them?
And it's also different when I'm not saying it. Like if I'm watching something, then it's okay. But the one by Amazon, I'm assuming is like, I know Amazon is getting big into that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm more of an Apple Watch guy, but my Apple Watch has been. Yeah, we're not going to talk about my Apple Watch.
I almost bought one not too long ago, but it was like on the border of being, should I buy a brand new one? And then you're talking.
That's how they get you.
Right?
It's like you get there and then you're like, oh, and then you're like $700 and you're like, ah, shit. Is it worth $700?
You know these AirPods?
Yeah. They came out with new ones today.
Shut up. I got these ones last year
Yeah, I got them Christmas time, you know?
Everything else.
Like I like them. These are they came out with new colors of these and they changed it to USB-C, which is pretty nice, but they didn't change the microphones. They didn't fix it really at all. They should have put studio microphones on this and then the studio branded microphones, and then I would have been fucking all for it, but like they didn't even fix the microphones.
Those are $900 though, right?
Yeah. I think the price went down a little bit because now they're like $760.
Yeah.
And then if you go GST,
it's gonna be a hard pass on those for me.
It's like $70 cheaper. I think.
get a full set of fucking almost brand new irons for those, like a couple years old. Fucking go golfing with them for the next 20 years.
Yeah, I like these ones because they're metal, and I can, if I'm like laying down in bed or something, it's just like they do. Like I fell asleep with them on and woke up, and if they were plastic, they would have been fucked.
I like the original AirPods. They fit better. The shape.
I hated them.
These sounds are better though, but they fall out a little bit more.
Go on Amazon and get the fucking memory foam tips. Makes a big difference.
For AirPods?
Yeah. That's what my last pair had. I lose them so bad. I've lost probably like 5 pairs of these. That's why I bought these, was because I was like, okay, I've pretty much spent the same amount on these. And then I actually lost the case. And I was walking my dog one night and it was like, I get a notification on my phone that I found my AirPods case. And I'm like, no way. It was like 2 a.m. I'm just like trying to find it with the Find Me.
The flashlight.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Man, I got the pasties bad and I don't know what I fucking took to get me the pasties.
Bruh, I got the burnout from listening to Donald Trump talk for half an hour or 45 minutes. Kamala was great. I could listen to her talk at the end. At the beginning it was like eh. But then when she started, there was like a point where I'm like, oh, she just triggered him. And then it was on after that. She at one point she like flashed a piece of paper. I'm like, did she just like, it was like, I'm Chris Hansen. You want to take a seat over there, please? Type flashing of a piece of paper. And then it was just game on. I swear to God, she showed him something. Like she went like this and he was like, whoa. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, that's really super good. I agree.
I couldn't believe they shook hands at the beginning.
And you see her walk over like, hey, I'm Kamala, motherfucker. Like, she might as well have said that because he was like, I'm not shaking your hand. I'm not shaking. Okay, I'm shaking your hand.
I think he had money on it, you know?
She wasn't.
That's what I suspect. He had money on it. Siemens over there.
Yeah.
Goddamn Seaman not supporting the show anymore. I'm just kidding. He woke up mad today.
Did he?
He's like, I'm going to go make 1.2K and you're still sitting here. I'm like, good for you. Go make your 1.2K, bud. Shut the fuck up.
My buddy came over. He's like talking about whatever. He's like, you know, man, I closed the deal today. It was $35,000. I was like, that's a lot of money, man. Congratulations. He's like, yeah. I was like, and he's like, he just.
That's why I could never go back to a 9 to 5.
What's that?
I could never go back to a 9 to 5.
Yeah, he doesn't do 9 to 5. He does like.
I'm a good salesman.
7 to 9. He does a lot of selling.
Yeah, I like door to door because you get to just like work whenever the fuck you want.
What he does is he does a lot of door to door.
Yeah.
And he sells like contracts and he makes like huge money. But he'll sell like massive like repaving jobs on laneways, right, for really wealthy people. And then once he sells one, he'll sell like 5 others on the street. And each one is like fucking 30 grand.
It's so fun. Dude, I love door-to-door sales because like once you get one, it's like, yeah, man. Because you just go to their neighbor's house and you're like, hey, you know so-and-so? And they're like, yeah, I know so-and-so. And then you build that trust.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, yeah, so I was just over there and they're super excited about this, whatever the fuck you're selling. And then, yeah, if they're like, I get off my doorstep, that's when it gets fun. You're like, I got about 35 seconds to turn this around.
Oh,
so much fun. I love it. I was like, one day I went to work and I had like, because I was just setting appointments, right? One day I went to work and in like an hour and a half, I had like 9 appointments set up. It was fucked, bro. It was like a record, like just boom, 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 boom. Next, because if they're like, no, I don't know that person, then you're like, oh, you know that person? They're like, yeah, I know that person. You're like, oh, okay, you know that person? They're like, yeah, I know that person. Then once you have like 4 of them, you're pretty much set at that point. They're just like, yeah, I know everybody. I'll sign up for that shit. Let's go.
Right now we're printing up a whole bunch of new business cards. I'm going door to door, like pretty much in the next couple of days.
Do you have a permit?
I don't think you need one in Orleans just to go door to door.
Jealous. You definitely need one in Alberta.
Do you?
There's been a lot of scammers go to door to door. They were like selling like washer machines or some stupid shit.
Oh.
I don't know. Really? It was a big scam, and then the government like cracked down on it because so many people got fucking scammed. Oh man, that was the worst when you like knock on somebody's door that's been scammed by a door-to-door salesman, and you're like, I'm not a demon, I swear. Like, don't go tell all of your friends this, please. You're gonna fuck everything up for me. They're like, I'll go tell all the neighbors. I'm like, please don't.
I'm not that bad.
Yeah. Sitting there like, oh man, actually there was one person that did that, and we actually closed the deal. It was fucking impressive. I spent like 20 minutes talking to her, and then she was like, okay, let's do it. And I'm like, okay. And then, yeah, closed the deal. Apparently it was just like easy deal to close too. I was like, what the?
Yeah, I used to sell a lot when I was doing oil and lube. You know, upsell and stuff like was part of my job, and you get bonuses and shit. I used to love upselling. Like, they come in for like at the time it was like $27 for a 15-minute oil change. You come in and leave with a new oil filter and a fresh oil.
So shady. Upselling oil changes is like the most shady sales job.
I would do them.
Yeah.
But then you upsell.
Yeah.
Hey, you want a new air filter? That's a common one, right? But then you're like, hey, you want your brakes cleaned? It looks like you might have a little gunk buildup. You might need some brake cleaner, or, you know, you would sell undercoating sometimes, you know, because you're under the car and you're looking at it. You're like, hey, you could be due for an undercoating.
So what I was selling was like computers. So upselling was lots of fun. Lots of fun. Be like, oh, okay, so you got this laptop. Now you need a bag. Now you need a tablet. Now you need a new phone. Okay. Anything else? Because they get addicted to the laptop, and then they're like, why is this so much faster than my phone? And you're like, because your phone's a piece of shit. And they're like, oh, can I look? And then you're just like, boom, boom, boom. You walk out with like everything they need, and they're happy. And yeah.
I might get a new laptop or replace a monitor on mine. I'm not too sure.
Man, I was looking at Macs today, and I want a MacBook, or not MacBook. I want an iMac, like the iMac or whatever, the cheap one.
Okay.
With like the M3 chip, but you get it refurbished, and it has like really good specs. 24-inch screen, $1,400 refurbished. You save like $400. It's like, damn, that's a really good deal.
Yeah, but I can get like a Google type one for like 600 tops.
Yeah, but they're not as good as the Mac, bro. The Apple Silicon is so good.
To play, I don't know.
Not for gaming.
Like
anything but gaming. Don't game on it. There's no games. Compatibility's fucked. It sucks. Yeah. Peace out, Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm not a gamer, and I would never game on a PC if I did game.
What's up, Vax?
If I were to game, it would have to be on an Xbox. Actually, I might start like playing Call of Duty and shit. Cause like last night I was just kind of like fucking around on RuneScape, not really doing anything, and I was like sitting like 18 viewers, like going between 18, 20, then down to
Minecraft
15.
is pretty fun.
And then Quagmire came in and I roasted Quagmire and my views went up to like 40 of just like random chicks like, she's not gonna pick you, bro. It was like 3:30 in the morning. Oh, it was so mean. I felt kind of bad, but I didn't know what I was gonna fucking watch. I heard he made some cringe videos, so I watched him and I was like, bro, this is bad. Like, don't be such a simp, bro. I know you take pride in being a simp, but like this is too much. Too much. Shit was funny. Wonder how this is going. I'm experimenting with some things on my Tiki Tac.
On the TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh, this chicken is what I needed. I'm eating it like a barbarian.
You're making me
pull it
hungry.
out of the fridge. I'm fucking carcass. I'm just
That's
like
the
ripping
best
it.
part about turning off the stream is just being able to like go munch out. Love that.
For some reason, I forgot to buy fucking cookies.
Dude, buddy got banned with 220,000 followers. And I message him, I'm like, bruh, and I swear to God, I was more sad than him. He's just like, yeah, whatever, fuck it. I'm like, okay, I'm like, just a fucking, he was like getting good views too. Like the one video where it's like, Trump 2024, that video. Yeah, he like made that one. He made the one with the like breaking the iPad where it was like, just one of those days.
Oh, yeah?
Oh man, he made so many good memes of me and his fucking account got banned. And the best part is there would be like, it would be like, I'd look at the video and there'd be like 1,000 likes on it. I'm, bruh, the fuck?
That's pretty low for somebody that has 220.
Well, yeah, but that was just when I like picked up on it.
right.
Not really, like, it really depends on how much you're posting and stuff like that. Because I found TikTok followers, sometimes it doesn't really matter. It's more about the community than the number. Because, like, you can have a viral video, get a shitload of followers, and then they don't want to watch your next video, and then you're just, like, blacklisted from their For You page.
You ever watch those Chinese videos?
No.
They're amazing. Amazing.
What are they?
Just videos of these people who live like, or who like, I don't know, show you how things were done like 1,000 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
They're pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I've definitely seen some of those.
Yeah, I like watching those a lot. Those are some of my favorite.
I have a Doses troll account over here. It's Doses Play Place.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty funny. Thank you for the heart, me. It's a pretty funny troll account, not gonna lie. I feel bad because I'm like I'm saying doses, but it's not doses.
It's quote out of context, right?
Is there another fake doses account now? Is there 2 fake doses account, or is that the real doses?
I don't know. People be mad. People be fucking around.
Oh, there we go. So there's another one now. There's doses truckin' Happy Meal. So the cartoons are multiplying. They need to be stopped. Somebody call Lisa O up in this bitch. Pretty soon. Oh, I'm not gonna say. Biting my tongue.
Usually a good call, and when in doubt.
I'm not very good at it, so if I do have to like bite my tongue, usually there's a good reason for it. Just saying.
What do you want?
Oh boy.
A piece of chicken?
Look at following. You have
easy
691 followers.
600 what?
Is that the real doses? Will the real doses please stand? Oh wait, never mind. She's blocked. She's blocked. I blocked her.
Who?
She pissed me off. Doses.
Oh, that's sad.
You support people that whole monologue tried that shit with me. I was like, nah, fuck you. No, I don't. Don't even like. I don't get it because if anybody says anything to her about Jimmy, she's like, I'm not responsible for Jimmy, but somehow I'm responsible for what Lindsay does in private group chats.
Lindsay.
That I don't.
Hey, the Jimler card.
That's funny.
I like Doses. I like hanging out with her.
Did I hear what Lucky did? What did Lucky do? Apparently he reported you to the police. Nice. Let's go. Oh, so should I like call the police then? Be like, hey, so you want my file?
Are you sure he's not
He definitely didn't.
trying to do the same thing you did?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was just fucking with him. Yeah, I'm like, I could, well, technically I could sue the fuck out of him. Like but like, do I want to go to fucking legal, like have like a legal battle with some fucking Nazi? Like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'll just not.
Nazi.
Like, just leave me the fuck alone. How about? Dude just like interjected himself and he's like, I'm gonna teach him a lesson. And I was like, okay, buddy. Said he was reporting to the RCMP in Innisfil.
He's all like, back in my day.
I don't think he understands how Alberta works. I'm in Calgary, so report it to the Calgary police.
Calgary.
There we go. Bro, if he actually did, I'm going to call them and be like, so did he? And if he did, oh my God, I'm going to laugh so hard. Cause like that clip is not going to hold up at all. They straight up muted me. Like I was so mad. I thought I had a hot mic going, right? And if I did have a hot mic going, it would have been fucking amazing because I would have been like, okay, so this is what it sounded like, and this is what I actually said. Like, that's not gonna fucking hold up in court. Also, I don't own throwing stars. I just thought it was funny. Apparently they're a prohibited weapon. Didn't know that. Cops are just gonna laugh, dude. They're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Grow the fuck up. Like, you think the cyber crime unit's gonna be like, yeah, so this dude, they're gonna take one look at his fucking his TikTok page and be like, bro, you're fucked in the head.
I just wish they would ask for the rest of the video instead of just taking whatever they're given as evidence.
Oh, I got the rest of the video. And I also have the videos of him saying that he wants to sit outside the shopping malls and wait for me. What else? Oh, I'm not even going to repeat some of this stuff. Some of the shit he said was so fucked up. Like, he's telling everybody I beat my dog on a live stream. First of all, don't beat my dog. Second of all, where's that live stream? Like, never happened. Like, oh man, he's and him being like, yeah, I went low and I'm gonna take it to the bottom of the gutter. I'm like, dude, cops are gonna see that and be like, this guy is a fucking like punk kid, basically. It's like some fucking kid from high school that is like, fuck the police, and then also like, I got punched in the face.
He's the type of guy that listened to Garth Brooks all through high school.
Garth Brooks. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Fucking out there rocking out to Garth Brooks in the wee hours of the morning.
Is that like bagpipe music?
I got friends in low places.
Oh. So there's no bagpipes?
No bagpipes.
Damn it. I love bagpipe music. That shit amps me up.
I love bagpipe. My cousin was a bagpiper for the military. Retired as a captain. Went to Afghanistan. Dun, dun,
also, the source that he went to the police is semen, so I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt. But it is fun to play with the toy.
He told me he went to the police in a video. He did video replies to my video or my comments. So I would comment, and he would video reply to them.
They're gonna be like, "Don't you have court today?"
Yep, somebody said that. When's your next court date? So,
maybe he was just at the courthouse and he's like, I got threatened.
And he's like, I'm actually the victim in the court case. And I was like, you ain't never been a victim in your life.
Oh man. Dude, I never even engaged with him. This whole thing was based off the premise that I made a video back in January, February. Never happened. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. You can go to my page. There's no video that I made about him.
It's weird.
Like, he just made that shit up.
Yeah.
Isaac's
what do you mean
nervous.
it's weird, Oscar?
Thanks, Seaman. I'm good, bro. I don't really fucking care. Like, what are they gonna do? Fucking come and arrest me for some fucking clip chimp? Like, that's not gonna happen. You need more.
If they do come to your door, be like, is that the video? Is that the only part of the video you got, or did you get the whole video? Like, do you see the part of me saying he's coming to my house with a 2x4?
Yeah, that's about it. I already have like an entire fucking video already edited and shit. In case I like.
Already edited.
Yeah, in case I want, like, it's so that I can do commentary on it just for like 6 months from now. You know, I want to like be like, oh, this is a flashback to when he did this, and it's going to be a pattern of behavior. And, you know, history repeats itself. So I assume he'll probably do the exact same thing in 6 months.
Bothered by Oscar's comments. Sort of annoyed at it.
And a military sim.
Yeah, go ahead. Everybody else went there to fight. They show up in kilts to.
Canada's military uses bagpipes all the fucking time. It kind of makes sense that there would be bagpipes.
There's a transition of power that happened in Afghanistan when Canada took over leadership of like the forward operating base or whatever it was called at the time. And bagpipers ceremoniously walked our.
Seaman, I'm gonna mute you, dude. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. Like, stop spamming my chat.
But he's also in the artillery. He's not in the military exclusively as a bagpiper. He's actually in the artillery. I don't know where that falls.
Jail, no bail, no HVAC.
Tough day for Isaac. He's worried.
Oh my God, he's over there now. That's funny.
Man.
Why would I be worried that some fucking dude that's been threatening me on the internet for a year called the police on me? Oh,
man.
Man.
That part. And I don't know what came part, like, he brags about being Mr. Face-to-Face, Mr. I'm gonna go ya, and not being scared of anything, and then 180 degrees starts being like, I'm gonna go to the police and charge you, because I'm afraid.
Well, yeah, it's because they have absolutely no dignity at all. Like dignity went out the fucking window like long fucking time ago. It's at all costs necessary at the cost of at all costs necessary, and the cost is their fucking dignity. They have no problem looking like complete fucking morons as long as it fits their agenda. It's one of the things you got to know about them fucking 4chan groypers on TikTok, you know?
They had some guy on Serena's live today talking about how he was a co-author of the MOU. And I'm like, didn't you motherfuckers fucking say that shit didn't existed? And here you are on a motherfucking live talking about the MOU. So you fucking guys. And then they were all talking about Bill C-293 in Canadian law.
What's that?
It's a pandemic prevention and preparedness legislation that is passed like third reading, and they were trying to dissect the law or whatever, how it's written, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's big scary for anybody that, you know, is part of the Freedom Convoy. That sounds like...
They're talking about, like in the legislation, for instance, they're talking about like livestock, compromised livestock, right? Like what to do in that situation. And you're like, obviously, compromised livestock, burn the fucking shit, right? Like get the fucking shit rid of it.
I say use Agent Orange. That shit works good.
Yeah, turn a blind eye for a couple of years, you know?
Yeah, the fucking mad cow disease will be our fucking Vietnam.
Yeah, exactly, right. And that's what they're talking about in this legislation is like being ready for swine flu or mad cow disease or avian flu or the next COVID, whatever. And these people are talking about they're going to suspend all our rights. They're going to control the food. We're going to be eating insects.
Good Lord.
Oh, wait, it's fucking...
Why the fuck would we eat insects? I don't understand.
People eat crickets.
Well, yeah,
People
but like...
insects.
There would be more of a reason why we'd be eating insects than just the government wants us to eat insects. Like,
I think you can buy it. Somebody said you could buy it at some bulk barns. And I've been procrastinating. I'd like once said that, I'd try that. And somebody's like, it's at bulk barn. And I've been like, let's never talk about that again.
Apparently it tastes like chicken.
I might go try some.
Tastes like chicken.
Be really good protein.
Yeah. You know what's better protein?
Tell me.
Liver. Sheep liver. You'll be fine.
Sheep liver?
Any liver.
I like liver. I make a really good Italian liver dish.
I fucking hate liver, but I also love liver. I don't know. It's all right. I should start eating fucking liver so then I can fucking...
When I get protein cravings, I usually eat...
my debate bingo card.
Canned tuna. Like if I need a protein hit...
Word.
Isaac went to jail on Friday. Happy if... What? Hey. I need to get a podcast set up or something.
I mean, I feel like that's more like challenging somebody to a duel than fucking... And we have dueling laws in Canada. We're allowed to duel.
For a fight, you can, but you can't do any.
He threatened me with a 2x4. I threatened him with a. Apparently, it's a prohibited weapon that I don't own. I don't own any. Just for the record.
It's only anything can be deemed a weapon if the intent to use it as a weapon is there.
Throwing stars are like bad, bro. You can't have them. You can have throwing knives, but you can't have throwing stars. Didn't know that. Learn something new every day. I just said throwing stars because I thought it was funny. I don't know. Kind of like how I was going off about being racist against English people. Just feeding them so many red herrings all in the same time, and they just took every fucking red herring.
It took them so long to catch on to that. And the amount of like, dude,
We taught them something. It was reverse psychology. Fuck, I wish I had the hot mic of me. It would have been so funny. Because I was ranting. They wouldn't let me talk, and I was just ranting. So if it was just my voice, it was like the one time I didn't have a hot mic in my room. I'm like, God damn it. God damn it. Yeah, I always feel like I'm being watched. I'm like, I don't even feel comfortable in my own room. I'm like, being watched for sure right now. There's definitely a hot mic.
my parents, my
Next, start
mother
looking
always
for
told me
shadow
somebody's
people.
always
I'm just
watching.
kidding.
As a kid, like my mom was always like, somebody's always watching. Somebody's always watching. And it was
I
like,
used to remember that movie where, who was it? Like Adam Sandler or somebody was like on the moon, and he was like looking down at the fucking Earth, and he was God, and he was like sitting up inside of the moon, and he was just like, there was somebody on Earth that was like, I feel like I'm being watched. I feel like I'm being watched, and there was actually some like dude on the moon watching him.
like the Truman Show.
Yeah, something like that. That shit stuck with me my entire childhood. I always thought somebody was on the moon watching me.
Always, I'm like, fuck.
Well, like it was kind of like a meme in my head type thing, but like, yeah.
I'm really stoked. Hopefully the Liberals can put forward somebody in Ontario worth voting for.
Do I like opened up my For You page, and Phil the Goat had a thing where it was like, it said like CRACKERRRRRR all in caps, and then it's like with a hard R, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Risky. That's a risky one. I want to know why Oscar's live always says February sucks. Why doesn't he like February? Is he just
It's
like
the
an
worst
incel?
month ever.
Is he an incel or?
Why would you say that?
Just because, like, you know, Valentine's Day, just the one day of, he's like, oh my God, every year.
November's the worst.
I mean, it's like fucking, it's like September, and his thing still says that February sucks. Like, that was like 7 months ago, bro. Get the fuck over it.
I would take, I would say either January or February are the worst months of the year. 100% of the time.
Yeah, February sucks. March is my favorite because, yeah, my guess is Black History Month. That's my guess.
March was good because like we used to go snowboarding in March and we'd have t-shirts on with our snowboarding overalls.
Hence why I asked it. I was just saying, hence why I asked it. Because it was like, I think it's Black History Month. He just doesn't like Black History Month.
Oh, it's February.
He thinks that Unbags had it worse than Jim Crow. There we go. Why is he not in the comments answering for himself?
Well, the pants for snowboarding gear is usually overalls. Then you have your jacket.
Bruh, I like... I want to go snowboarding so bad. Snowboarding's the best.
I used to love it. Then I really hated it.
I'm like getting confused because I have your chat up and I have my chat up, and I keep reading your chat and answering to your chat.
How are you reading my chat?
Because I'm a creeper.
Oh, super cool.
Just kidding. No, I have it on my phone, and then I'm streaming it to my TV.
I feel like skiing's a little bit easier though. It's kind of more relaxing too. I get in that rhythm.
I kind of can't really afford to have content not aired out because then they'll just like twist what happened, you know? So if anything does happen, then no, go look at it. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I went wrong with the whole throwing star episode. I thought I had a hot mic. God damn it. Oh well. The throwing star thing's funny as fuck. I can't believe if he actually did go to the cops, that's the funniest fucking thing of the year. Like, how can you...
Nice.
Like, that's the most Canadian police report. Like, yeah, I threatened him with a 2x4, and then he threatened me with the throwing star.
You'd be like, sir, are you drunk? Let me see your pupils.
Yeah, like, oh boy. I imagine he probably like didn't pass the criteria for the police report, so he's like, I reported it to the police.
Oh.
But the police officers were like, nah, we're not doing that. Fuck out of here. Yeah. It's all fucking Trudeau's fault. Fuck. Oh, that's the best. Oh, it's like Christmas in September. It's almost 9/11. It's 9/11 where you are.
Tomorrow. Oh yeah.
He said he reported it. Yeah, I doubt there's like an actual like report. I don't think it works like that. I think you'd need like a little bit more information than a 5-second clip where I got muted. Unless it's just like some like 90-year-old cop just like, okay, oh, not a throwing star. Oh no. I'll get right on that. Mm-hmm. Holy fuck, that guy was on glue.
Their license and registration.
I wish he would have done it like I wish he would have recorded it and showed us evidence of it, but he also doesn't have a receipt for any of the claims that he's made against me, so other than the one, he has the one receipt. Oh, that's the best. Oh my god.
That's the Jimmy's receipt.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then there was the one where they claimed that I said they claimed that I told an immigrant to go back to their country, but I never said that. And then right after, like I shit you not, right after he was coming after me for it, he's like, yeah, they all need to go back. They need to go back because it's just not, there's not a good enough life here. It's actually cruel for the people immigrating here. There's not enough space. Oh my god. Like,
these are pretty good.
Oh, those are fucking fire. I wish they were more sour though.
Yeah, a little bit.
More citric acid, please. Maybe just like dip them in citric acid. Maybe that would be the way to go. Just go get like a thing of sour soothers and shake it.
Best.
Like soak them in, like put them in like a bunch of warheads and like let them soak in the warheads and then take them out. Oh, those would be it'd be like sour Skittles, but oh my god, I might have to do that. I'm gonna make my own sour Skittle gummy recipe where it'll be better than get the warhead pop. There we go. Just pour the warhead pop in there and then throw a bunch of warheads inside the pop. So it's just like melting through the pig. Then just, yeah, it'll be like, you know, when they get the...
I got like level 2 with the warhead trend and like, that was it, you know, like a long time ago.
Dude, one time I ate a whole bag of warheads in like a day. And it was like a pack of like 200 of them or some stupid... I was literally the whole day just like eating a fucking warhead. My tongue at lunchtime was like had like scars on it, and I just kept doing it. It was so bad. My tongue didn't recover for like a year. Oh, it was the worst, but I completed the challenge. Probably not the smartest thing. Don't do that.
That didn't sound very good.
Yeah, it was a really stupid idea, actually.
You guys need to go pee? Need to go outside? Why? Why? Why do you need to bark?
I want to go outside.
It's fucking pretty chilly.
It's Friday.
Not so bad though.
Friday.
Like probably like 7 or 8 degrees, 6, 7, 8.
Dude, the fucking debate put everybody to sleep. Everybody's like, I need to go to bed now.
People were talking about fact checking.
Yeah, that's boring. It's American politics. It's boring this year.
The first that was 33-1.
It's my first day back into politics in like, what would it be? A year and a half? Like almost a year and a half, I guess.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, something like that. Haven't thought about politics. Like I'll like dabble in it a little bit, but like I just like gave up on politics for a bit. I was like, I need to take a break from politics. So
Yeah.
I did.
A lot of people do.
Just because we lost the election and I was pissed. It's going to backfire because they will have to investigate, so all this behavior will get looked at, right? That's my favorite part. They're going to be like, I don't think you're allowed to do that. Are you sure you want to? It'd be so funny if they were like, are you sure you want to go through with this? And then he's like, yeah. And then they're like, okay, put your hands behind your back.
They wait, like, so I was told, you know, if you want to pursue, like, compensation, you have to go through the whole trial to begin with. Press charges against the other one for a slap lawsuit or frivolous lawsuit.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, you know, like, if...
Oh, man, I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to go with the flow here.
That's like 12 grand to go to court for that, though, right? Minimum.
I would come up with it pretty quick.
Like a criminal case is like 12 grand.
Oh yeah. I would definitely come up with it pretty quick though. That shit
I would get public defense.
Well yeah, obviously, but you have like a shitload of time before you actually go to the court. It would be better to just like not think about it, and then like 2 months before the court case, get a lawyer, be like, okay, so this is what, and then it's just there's so much shit. They're like, okay, fuck, let's wing it. Yeah,
just
like
wing it.
He doesn't have a solid case. It would be like literally look at it and be like, yeah, this is fucked. It's not gonna work. Probably use ChatGPT to fucking win.
Maybe restaurants should talk politics too. They have twisted truth and have stupid people them.
Maybe Vax should talk politics too.
Vaxy talks politics.
No, he doesn't. I haven't heard him talk politics in like a year. The fuck, Vax?
You extreme leftist, Isaac,
yeah,
you know.
I'm super extreme.
You extreme leftist.
We're all the same, they say. Except for me.
All you want is free stuff.
All I want is free stuff. Yeah, totally.
'Cause, you know, you extreme leftist. You extreme leftist. You extreme leftist. All you want is free stuff. All you want is free stuff.
Yeah, totally. 'Cause, you know, you extreme leftist. Yeah, totally. 'Cause, you know, you extreme leftist. Yeah, totally. There is one thing though. I'm wearing my mega gear. I'm all mega'd up.
I saw that. Man, I loved it when she was talking about the fucking healthcare in the United States.
Are you asking Vax what he's wearing? Vax, what are you wearing? There's somebody in my chat that wants to know what you're wearing. Oh, no. They're calling me a furry. Never mind. Don't tell us what you're wearing, Vax. Nobody cares. I need red nail polish. I know I would have got red nail polish, but I also didn't want to like go buy nail polish today. That was not on my agenda.
No.
It's like, yeah, maybe. I kind of like the blue though, to be honest. Red is a little bit too. What's the word that Jimmy always uses? That's like super archaic. Like Jimmy and Mark Pre use it all the time. Fucking, oh man. It means like, oh, it's on the tip of my, I'm gonna stop thinking about it. Oh well. 30 hours no sleep. This is team no sleep over here.
I'm not.
I'm probably gonna like stay up for forever making sound bites and shit. Yeah. I gotta like make a video tomorrow. I wanted to make a video today, but I just like never got around to it because I fucking hate making videos. But I'm kind of glad I waited till after the debate because there are things in the debate that definitely would help. I can't remember what it was.
Nat said the blue is a good contrast to the red in your hoodie.
Should get some sleep so you can make better choices in your life. Thanks, Vax. Like, who the fuck are you? I hate it when people like in the audience think that their opinion fucking matters, like they can fucking relate. Like, bro, you don't even know. You go off and then you come back and you just see like a little bit of what's going on and then you're just mad about it. You come to conclusions way too quickly. And then you think that your opinion fucking matters and nobody gives a fuck, Vax. Nobody. Sorry, I got a Capca. One of those like things you gotta slide. Yes.
Bruh.
Yeah, I would say like I'm not really even that sleep deprived considering I slept for like 12 hours, woke up, and then did 24 hours. It's really not that bad. And I did take a little nap. Couple little cat naps here and there. Just 20-minute cat naps, you know? What's up, Billy? Oh, boy. I'm fucking tired as shit right now. And your vibe is like so slow. It's like we're just both just like Cheech and Chong having a conversation and there's like what, 20 people watching or something like that? Yeah. My views were up there for a bit and then I fucked up and did a reset at the wrong time. Shouldn't have done that. Gonna take note of that for the future, but oh well. I've made a few mistakes the last couple days that kind of, because you know when you do something and then it really fucks your algorithm and you're like, I'm never doing that again. Yeah, I've done that a few times in the last, because I've been playing with the new software that I have, And yeah.
Is that your agency that got you the software?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. You have to, if you have a PC, you can't use it. You have to like be on a Mac because they don't have. It's better to use TikTok Studio. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But I have a Mac, so the struggle is real. Because on TikTok Studio, you can like bring guests up and shit. It's pretty fucking cool. What the fuck was that?
These people need to go to sleep for sure.
See user history. Okay. My account was just like, you shared the live, and I'm like it said I shared the live, and I'm like, I never fucking shared the live. The fuck is even happening?
The other day it said, today it said I joined the live through an invite that I shared with myself.
Hmm.
I was fucked up over that.
Interesting.
Yeah. Serena had a live tonight. Oh, I don't know, a little dull. They were talking about Bill C-293, just past third reading.
I just learned about it today.
Did you learn?
Yeah, you taught me about it. Remember, nice. I haven't been really engaging in. It was strictly drama, so facts can stay mad. I like drama.
Y'all need entertainment. Are you not entertained?
Somebody's got to do it. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Just like let them fucking take over? That's what Vax wants. We need to take away the podium that they speak on. Caesar. No, sorry, not Caesar. They're not that cool.
Remember Cartman when he was in South Park when he became like Mustache Man?
Yep.
Cartman mustache.
Yeah. No, I remember. No? And then he got like all of South Park, and they were all like, "Oh, this is really powerful. He's such a good speaker. Oh my god."
He's just yelling at them, pushing his hair back.
Oh my god. Fuck, I love South Park so much. I'm probably going to have to find some good South Park moments tonight. I have a project that I'm going to do. That's why I'm not going to sleep for a while. Yep. I just found out that Bax blocked me because I'm a troll account. Lisa told him to, so... You're not a troll account? Vax blocked you because you're a troll account? What the fuck? What? This is fucking paranoia.
Lisa, it's your birthday.
Yeah, Vax isn't really that special. Nobody... It's actually kind of nice when he blocks you, because then he just goes and talks shit about you on lives and shit, and then you can't see it. You're like, okay, have a nice day, bud. While you complain about me talking shit, and you're talking shit. Real productive. He's like, I just mooch off of other people's lives. I show up, I kill the mood, and then I go back to work. Yeah, buddy. That's a true peacemaker right there.
The guy does work a lot.
Yeah, he's always working. That's why he should maybe just stick to always working instead of always getting up in my business.
Are you trying to silence somebody's voice now?
Yeah, totally. Fuck yeah.
Are you trying to do the thing you were complaining about?
I actually don't give a fuck, really. But I do find his rants to be humorous because it somehow always ties back to me. I'm like... He's like, yeah, once you block those people like Isaac and Fancy, then your problems go away. It's like, that's great, Pax. You don't have to fucking go and recruit people against me because you got hurt feelings. That shit's annoying. Because it's like...
fetus did that to me the other day, like, well, a week ago.
Oh, fun. I have it happen to me all the time. People are like, we need to unite again. Like that one Billy Bob. Yeah, he's been trying to like cancel me. It's not going so well. I don't. He's saying I'm getting other people to fight his battles, but what's really happening is I'm not really paying attention to what's going on over there because I don't really care that much. I watched it at first and I was like, oh, this is fun, and then like, never mind. I'll just go back to being a drama channel and
A drama channel.
fucking cry me a river.
Yeah, I'm voting Liberal Party of Canada. Yeah, I do support the Liberal Party of Canada.
NDP. Do you want me to send a message?
Yeah. You're still going
yeah.
NDP? That's
I'm not
hilarious.
going fucking liberal. Fuck that. Fuck Trudeau.
Why? No, it's cool. No.
I have a lot of reasons, but definitely gonna be on board with the NDP the whole time unless they piss me off. But at this point, I'm like, I like their platform a lot more than I like the fucking liberals. That's my prediction for what I'm gonna vote.
I'm kind of hoping the NDP's trying to flex so they can get UBI delivered.
That's why I like the NDP. Shit like that. Being able to put in like pretty.
Liberals might do it on their own because there's such an unfavorable like temperament right now.
Yeah, see, I can see Trudeau working with Pierre Poilievre type shit.
He's not. He's going to work with the Bloc Québécois guy.
Okay, say there was another election, right? And his only option was to work with the Conservatives. I feel like he would. That's
right on.
That's how I feel about Trudeau. He's pretty much just a fucking conservative. Which is, conservatives are pretty much just fucking Democrats.
Conservatives, like I don't want to kill it, but like conservatives don't work very well with other parties, and you see that Trudeau's worked with other parties. You know, I think that's a big testament. I don't want to get into the weeds with it, but
yeah, we'll save that for a day when we're not like fucking burnt the fuck out from listening to Donald Trump spiral for 2 hours. God damn, that shit was brutal, man. I couldn't believe, like, I've watched him a little bit, but like, good lord, he's so low energy now.
And he's got to be disappointing for his supporters, that's for sure.
Low energy. It doesn't ring as low energy Trump. Call him low energy Trump.
Kamala made mention of her age too. She's like, I'm the next generation. Yeah, I would put a lot of money on Kamala Harris to win right now.
She definitely fucking cooked in that debate. There was definitely times where she was cooking, then there was times where I'm like, how are you not getting a slam dunk right now? There were
having no audience.
There were a few things I was like, okay. There was a few things where I was like, all right, come on. Like how she kept saying, fuck, what was it? She would always start her sentence off the same way. It was like, fuck, I can't even remember. It was so repetitive. I was going crazy. I don't know, but I'm a weirdo. My brain picks up on like weird patterns and shit, so don't listen to me.
I get that.
Oh my god, dude. This fucking... The wiring right now, I'm like stuck on one wire. Bruh. Jesus Christ, bruh.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna crash.
Peace out, bro.
I'll talk to you later. Have a nice evening, everybody.
Bro, TikTok to be doing some shady shit. Sorry, one sec. There we go. There we go. Oh my god, TikTok, bro. I just been talking to myself muted. Good lord. Pay attention, buddy. Holy fuck. Okay, couple things I want to do here.